You're listening to The Zone, ESPN Radio, 1600 AM, Cedar Rapids. We now leave our network programming to bring you the following special sports presentation.
Cedar Rapids Kernels, that's a good time roll.
Play ball! Are you ready to let the good times roll? Are you ready for Kernels baseball? The Zone, ESPN Radio, 1600 AM, and the Class A affiliate of the Anaheim Angels welcome you to Cedar Rapids Kernels baseball. Now in his ninth season as the voice of the Kernels, here's John Rogers.
Oh, welcome the sun. It appeared just a few minutes ago. The rains have subsided, and the Kernels prevailed in a game condition that could only be characterized as challenging at best and more realistically miserable yesterday and last night. But it was a wonderful day and night on the field because the Kernels took sole possession of first place in the Western Division first half standings of the Midwest League by virtue of a come-from-behind 2-1 victory over the Kane County Cougars. The victory was highlighted by 4 shutout innings out of the Kernel bullpen from right-hander Aaron Pullen. This afternoon, Game 2 of our mini 2-game set with the Oakland A Farmhands, the second game of a Kernel 4-game homestand. A special guest on the dugout interview. I think you'll be highly intrigued to tune in after this break. We're going to be talking to Assistant U.S. Attorney Bob Teig, but Bob wasn't prosecuting on behalf of citizens on the federal level yesterday. You'll hear what Bob Teig did when we return. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on The Zone.
Whether you're a serious athlete or a weekend warrior, injuries can take you out of your game. Smart athletes know that Physiotherapy Associates in Cedar Rapids are the experts in the treatment and prevention of sport-related injuries. Our expert staff serves the metro and surrounding area high school athletes. Physiotherapy Associates in Cedar Rapids, the smart choice in sports medicine. Call us at 398-1569. That's 398-1569. We'll get you back in your game today.
Hey, corporate employees and union members too. Airport National 27-0 Public Golf Course in Cedar Rapids has an unbelievable new corporate union season pass special for you. 2 people for $300, 4 people for $250, 10 people or more for only $200 each. Add a spouse for only $125 or just $50 for each child. Airport National Public Golf is now accepting new corporate, charity, and church golf outings and leagues starting as low as only $11 per person. Holy sliced, Batman. Please visit us just 4 miles east of the Eastern Iowa Airport today.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Bob Teig is sitting alongside here for the dugout interview. Bob's son, John, is a Kernel bat boy. Bob is a season ticket holder, but Bob, I didn't realize till after yesterday's and last night's Kernel 2-1 victory, you did something highly unusual. How did it tell us what you did and how it came about?
I fulfilled a lifelong dream and got to be a bad boy for the Kernels last night.
Membership, I guess, has its privileges. Your son, John, has served in that role for how many years, Bob?
This is John's 4th year as a bad boy for the Kernels.
So you've seen what a joy it is for him and yet also what a responsibility it is. How long have you been thinking about putting on the uniform?
Oh, we've been out here to watch him ever since he's been bat boy, and we were Kernels fans before that, and that's how we got the job, from out here watching and watching how responsible the boys are, knowing they really have to pay attention to what's going on, and not just what's going on in the bases, but kind of behind the scenes. And they happened to have an opening Saturday. They were short a bat boy, and I know they were looking, and I volunteered to do it, and was lucky enough to get chosen.
Well, Bob, I'll tell you what, you didn't have exactly ideal conditions under which to work. How did you keep from slipping all over the place, or what was it like down there yesterday and last night?
It wasn't too bad, and we stayed under the dugout, so we were out of the rain for the most part, and it did break a couple of times, but I had to run out in the rain, and I had moisture dripping off the front of the batting helmet. But we did fine down there, and the temperature wasn't too bad. I know it was tough for the players, and they talked about it before the game, and as the game started, it's tough for them to play in the rain, but they really played through the adversity and did a great job last night.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Bob, because we had a 1997 Kernel outfielder with us, Theo Fifi, and we talked about the mindset or attitude not only the Kernels but Kane County have to take when it is such adverse or miserable conditions. Were the guys just saying, come on, stay on top of it, or let's get after it, or level with us? Were they saying, this is icky, I don't want to play tonight?
Well, I think before the game started, a couple were asking back in the locker room, the tarp on the field. They wanted to know what was going on, and I did my bad boy job and went out and checked, and no, the tarp wasn't on the field. They had the mound covered to keep that in good shape. But once they knew the game was on, they were out on the field, warmed up. It was, again, miserable for them to warm up, having to run out on the field in the rain and try and stretch and loosen up under kind of cold conditions, especially some of these guys coming from warm areas. I know Brandon Woods is wearing the face mask because he's from Arizona and not used to these cold temperatures. But once they knew the game was on and they were going to play, they were in the game.
They prepared.
Yep. And
mentally and physically.
They were ready to go. And you could tell last night they stayed with it. It kind of started out slow at the beginning of the game, but they really stayed with it. And as we've seen many times this year, they'll get to the point where all of a sudden they string things together and came from behind and a little bit at a time and got in the lead.
Bob, you mentioned the behind-the-scenes duties of a bat boy, and you mentioned yesterday that you checked on the status of the field. What else did you do? What time do you get here to start performing the duties, and what are the duties?
Well, I didn't get to do everything that the bat boys got to do, but the bat boys are here 3-4 hours before the game starts. And I know from John explaining what they do, they're here for batting practice. They're shagging balls, picking them up. They're on the outside of the fence picking up the home run balls. They get the water coolers ready for batting practice, and as the game goes along and the game is ready to start, they get the coolers ready. They get towels out where they need to go. They make sure that the bat donut and the warm-up bat and the rosin bags are in place, ready to go. Something that they also do for the visiting team is sometimes players will want something to eat.
Sure.
Before the game.
How does that happen?
The trainer from the visiting team will come down, talk to the bad boys, and as you know, there's a league rule that players can't go up to the concession stands once they're in uniform. So the bad boys aren't in uniform yet, so it's about half hour, 45 minutes to an hour before the game. So they'll go into the locker room, and John and I went in the locker room last night, and we took 3 or 4 orders for food for some of the players, and they're just real nice about it. They even have the bat boys keep the change. I didn't last night, but John was able to.
As a form of a tip.
Yeah, and it's just their appreciation, and they're just real pleasant. I know they were all eating dessert that came from, I think, Center Point last night.
Chris Treidel.
That's right. I think his family had brought dessert, so they had dessert first. But we picked up food for some of the players, so that's one of the bad boys' duties.
Bob Teig is a U.S. assistant attorney, a federal prosecutor here in Cedar Rapids, and he lived a dream last night in the rainy, damp, cool conditions serving as the Colonel Bat Boy. We'll continue our dugout interview with Bob Teig, his son John in his 4th season as the Colonel Bat Boy. We return with Bob after this. You're tuned to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Look around you. Everyone's different. Some of us are tall, many of us are short. If you think about it, there are many important differences among people. That's what makes us all individuals. Insurance needs are individual, too. Talk to your Pekin Insurance Agency, Sheets, Forrest, Draper Insurance in Marion, about the proper insurance coverages for your individual needs. See Scott Draper at Sheets, Forrest, Draper in Marion about insurance for your home, auto, life, health, or business. You can depend on your hometown professionals with Pekin Insurance. Here's a fact about the new Veterans Memorial Stadium I bet you didn't know. All of the grounds surrounding our community's newest source of pride are maintained by Greg's Lawn Service. That's right, it's Greg's Lawn Service that provides you with that initial lift when you approach our magnificent new ballpark. Greg's Lawn Service can put their first-class signature on your yard, elevating it to the same immaculate condition you see around the stadium. Greg's Lawn Service, a cut above the rest since 1983.
interview guest before Game 2 of our two-game mini set with the Kane County Cougars is Bob Teig. Bob is an assistant U.S. attorney, a federal prosecutor. And, Bob, as we look down now, we see the joy of one of the Colonel Bat Boys getting to take some grounders and throw the ball back to Brandon Wood. I know with the tarp on the field in the rain yesterday, that probably didn't happen for you, but is it something that you would hope to get to do as a Bat Boy?
Well, I probably would throw my arm out. These younger kids are a little more athletic than I am, but I know the Bat Boys do get to do those things with the players, and I think at times they even during practices go out and exercise with them, and that's one of the things that's so great about this job. I know for John and the other Bat Boys is the players are just so nice to them, and they really feel that they're a part of the team. They really are invested in this team. When the team isn't in town where John is either working or watching the game from the stands, he's glued to the radio listening to you and the play-by-play. He just can't get enough of it, and part of it is just because these players are such nice folks, just as well as being players. So
I'm glad you brought that to light, Bob Teig. I read a book. I haven't told John this when I was a little boy. It was I thought the luckiest kid in the world was a kid that got to be a Cardinal Bat Boy. And this book is long out of print, but I read it and did a book report on it. It was called Big League Bat Boy. It was by the kid named Jerry Gibson. Jerry's probably in his 50s or 60s now, but he was the Bat Boy for the Cardinals. And that inside world that your son gets to experience and that you got a taste of last night. Bob, just in general, after a player puts the ball in play, whether it's a home run or a pop-up or whatever, what was your job and what is the Bat Boy's job? Because that has to be choreographed so that you're not an impediment to the action.
Well, and there is more to it than sitting in the stands you think about. In fact, when you're in that job, you can't really pay close attention to what's going overall on in the game because you're with that immediate job. When the ball's in play, you've got to wait. If the runner is safe at first, you've got to wait till play stops, till it's clear that the umpires have cleared things and you don't have an overthrow and there's any other call to make. You got to go out, get that bat picked up, pay attention to that. If there's a foul ball, I chased a few of those last night just in front of the dugout, and I got new respect for Rhodey. When he chases out to that left field line and runs all the way out there, he is really running, and my short runs kind of made me wonder how it was going to last, but paying attention to that, because if there's a foul ball or pass ball with nobody on base, you chase those down behind home, but if it's a foul ball or more a pass ball when somebody's on base, you don't get those, and you gotta watch those. So and watching the umpires, because when they're ready for more baseballs, you got to catch that signal. We didn't have it last night, but I know there's the secret symbol. When the umpires want to drink, they'll tip their hands up to their mouths. So
and that's your job too.
Bad boys have to watch for when umpires want to drink and take those cues. So they're paying attention to just focused aspects of the game. And I know once I was putting the bat back in the rack, and I turned around, and somebody had gotten on base. I missed it. It was just that quick. So.
Oh, Bob, this has been just splendid of you to come in early and be our live dugout interview guest. I guess my last question would be if you could recommend it to an adult like you or me. It's something, I guess, that was a true dream come true or a fantasy. You're glad you did it, even though the conditions were miserable.
Oh yeah, and would have been here watching the game, but to be able to do that, especially with John on the other side working the visitor side. I told him he was had seniority. He was my supervisor last night, and he had to tell me a couple of times what I needed to do. But it's a whole different perspective on the game. It's the only chance I'm ever going to get to be in a baseball uniform. Rhodey was wondering if I'd fit in the uniform, but I did make it last night. It was a great time, and I'd do it again in a minute.
Bob Teig, thank you very much, not only for sharing your experience as a grown bat boy, but for all the work you do on behalf of keeping our community and our country safe and just as an assistant U.S. attorney. Bob, you've heard me sing the praises of our local area, Zio Giano's Spaghetti Houses, the best pasta homemade bread there is. A $5 gift certificate for you as our guest from Zio Giano's. Enjoy. Bob Teig, thank you so much.
Thank you, John. This has been really nice.
very nice for our listeners. Bob Tighe, our dugout interview guest, last night's Bat Boy. The sun is shining. We have a great day for baseball. I'll get to the starting lineups, Kernels and Kane County, when we return. You're tuned to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
It's a good bet. Many of you have unwanted, perhaps now working, bulky items taking up space in your basement or garage. Well, now's the time to get rid of them during the annual bulky item cleanup in Cedar Rapids. The do's and don'ts are spelled out in a flyer you received in the mail recently. It lists the wood and plastic articles city crews will pick up when they come to your neighborhood and explains how to dispose of unwanted appliances, tires, and scrap metals. Or check the city's website for all the details. This reminder from your friends at Cedar Rapids Solid Waste and Recycling.
Hey, everybody, gonna get on down to Hometown Restyling. Hometown Restyling. For all your remodeling needs, satisfaction guaranteed. Hometown Restyling specializes in all of your home's interior, exterior needs. Visit our showrooms, one in Hiawatha, one in Coralville, and see the incredible possibilities. Windows, siding, sunrooms. Give us a call at 378-1221. It's like home.
Seems days. It has been days. The sun is shining. The wind is blowing from left to right, and we're going to set the starting lineups for Game 2 of the 4-game Kernel homestand, the second and final game of our mini set with the Kane County Cougars. The Kernels won 2-1 last night under adverse conditions to take sole possession of first place in the Western Division first half standings. Kane County comes in at 9-7. Their skipper is Dave Joppy. And here's their starting lineup. Brian Ingram at shortstop will lead it off. Out of the University of Minnesota at second base, Luke Appert, he'll bat second. David Castillo will serve as the DH, and he'll bat third for the Cougars. The cleanup man is the catcher, David Harriman. Brian Snyder, Oakland's first-round pick last season, will bat fifth. He's at third base. In left field, hitting sixth, Corey Weymouth. Trevor Brown will bat seventh, and Brown is at first base for Kane County. The center-pointer-Banna native son, Chris Tribal, will hit eighth. He's in center field. And the Cougar right fielder batting ninth, Luis Perez. On the hill for Kane County, a 24-year-old right-hander from San Diego State, Chris Dunwell. Dunwell is already 2-0 on the season in 3 previous starts, an ERA of 2.70. Our great friends at Allen Motor Company now bring us the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup. Allen's is open late tomorrow till 9 o'clock. It's important you remember that and know it because, Kernel fans, Allen's spring cleanup sale is in full swing, and that means big savings on 2004 Buick LeSabres. Spring cleanup sale priced at just $19,995. That's a savings of over $6,000 at Allen Motor Company on those 2004 Buick LeSabres. 2004 GMC Envoys, spring cleanup sale priced at Allen's at under $26,000, $25,999, a savings of over $6,400. Allen's is open late tomorrow till 9, I-380 and Boyson Road, exit 25 in Hiawatha. Before the Kernels take the field with their Cost Cutters Dream Team members, here is the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup. Howie Kendrick leads it off, and he'll be at second base. The switch-hitting center fielder, Quan Cosby, made a stellar catch in center in the 4th inning yesterday to prevent the Cougars from taking a 2-0 lead. He'll bat second in center field. Hitting third for the Kernels is shortstop Brandon Wood. In right field, batting cleanup in the Allen Motor Company order, Blake Balcom. Caleb Mayer is the designated hitter. He'll hit fifth. Batting sixth at third base, Sean Rodriguez. Aaron Peel will be in left field and bat seventh in the Allen Motor Company order. Matt Abram will be at first. He's hitting eighth. And batting ninth, he drove in the go-ahead run in yesterday and last night's Kernel win, catcher Tommy Duenas. On the hill, rounding out the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup, a newcomer, lefty Nick Touchtone. Touchtone is a 6-foot, 5-inch, 220-pound southpaw who's 22 years old, and he was taken by the Angels in the 18th round in year 2002. Nick Touchstone making his Kernel debut here this afternoon as the sun is shining. Nick was 2-1 last year in 10 starts with the Pro Bowl Angels, a 3.56 ERA. The Kernels are about to take the field. They're wearing their white home uniforms with navy blue caps and red bills. The Anderson Brown Eye Care umpiring crew, Scott Jarrett behind home plate, Tyler Funneman will work the diamond. Anderson and Brown Eye Care is your Bausch and Lomb contact lens specialist and a leading dispenser of contact lenses in the area. Anderson and Brown Eye Care has locations inside Lens Crafters in Westdale Mall and Coral Ridge Mall in Coralville, as well as North Park Mall in Davenport. Our Anderson and Brown Eye Care umpiring crew, Scott Jarrett calling the balls and strikes, Tyler Funneman working the diamond. Well, a good group of kids, a great contingent from Cleveland Elementary School is on hand here this afternoon, and a group from Cleveland in white T-shirts. We're going to get our binoculars thanks to Bob Tiggs, help our dugout interview guest, and those Cleveland kids have the Cleveland Chargers written on their white T-shirt. There go the Kernels trotting out onto the field with their Cost Cutters Dream Team members, and they look sharp in their jackets and hats. The Cleveland Charger group of kids, I would say it's, about a dozen girls. They're going to sing the Star-Spangled Banner here shortly on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Let's join the public address announcement of the Cleveland Chargers for the singing of the national anthem.
Okay, so I'm dropping my daughter off at daycare, and as I'm walking out, I see myself in the double door. Uh-oh is right. My hair looks terrible. My ends are all scraggly, and my roots. Did you see my roots? I can't believe I've been walking around like this.
Have you tried Cost Cutters?
Oh, I'd love to get my hair done, but who has the time? With work and the kids, I barely have time to find matching socks, let alone time for my hair. Besides, I need the works.
Just go to Cost Cutters. They'll have you in and out and looking great in no time.
Yeah?
Yeah. At Cost Cutters, the stylist will keep you looking great with a new cut, some color, even highlights. Check out mine.
Oh, so Cost Cutters is your secret.
Yep. I even get my favorite products there. You know, shampoo, conditioner.
That's it. I'm going to Cost Cutters.
Right now?
My roots, thank you.
There are a dozen Cost Cutters here in our area, each offering a relaxed, convenient hair care experience with no appointments and no hassles. Cost Cutters make things easy and affordable with professional stylists who care about you.
Cost Cutters. Live your life. We always have time for your hair.
Chargers from Cleveland Elementary School doing a fantastic job singing the Star-Spangled Banner. The Cost Cutters Dream Team members are heading towards the left and right field lines. They're exiting the diamond. I'm John Rogers, your play-by-play host on this delightful Sunday afternoon, and our in-studio engineer is Deb Williams. As Nick Touchstone, a 6'5" lefty, prepares to make his Kernel debut here this afternoon, State Farm Insurance agents Lanny Peterson, Al Shetler, Gary Schubat, and Dale Thompson bring us this look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. In the American League, they're already in the bottom of the seventh at Comerica Park. Cleveland on top of the Tigers 3-1. In the bottom of the fifth inning, the Red Sox, who have won 5 of 6 from the Yankees, lead New York 2-0. Baltimore trails at home at Camden Yards to Toronto. Blue Jays 5, Orioles 2. That's in the top of the fourth inning. Texas, playing at the ballpark in Arlington, holds a 1-0 lead over the Seattle Mariners. That's in the bottom of the second. Bottom of the second at Kauffman Stadium, the Twins and Royals are scoreless. Later this afternoon, the White Sox host Tampa Bay at Comiskey. Our parent club, the Anaheim Angels, take on Oakland in the Coliseum. Now, in the National League on the State Farm Major League scoreboard, Montreal at Olympic Stadium on top of the Phils, 2-0. Pittsburgh hosting Cincinnati. That game is not underway, delayed by rain. The Cardinals are ahead of the Brewers 2-0 at Miller Park. That's in the third inning. Cubs and Mets scoreless in the second inning at Wrigley Field. Later this afternoon, Houston and the Rockies at Denver. The Dodgers hosting the Giants. The Padres are taking on the Diamondbacks in Phoenix. And the game you'll hear right here on the Zone later this evening, the Florida Marlins hosting the Atlanta Braves. That's our look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Well, what a thrill for Nick Touchstone. The 6'5" southpaw comes in here to join a bunch of guys he played with last year at Provo and sporting a 2-1 record, and he joins a first-place Colonel Ball Club. Leading off for the Cougars this afternoon is their second baseman, or shortstop rather, left-handed hitting Brian Ingram. Ingram, little did we know when he doubled and scored in the Cougar first inning yesterday, would score the only run for Kane County. He was 1 for 3. And Ingram, a left-handed batter with a .281 average, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. Lefty against lefty. Nick Touchstone's first pitch is a strike at the letters, according to Scott Jarrett, the plate umpire. We're underway. The sun has disappeared momentarily, but it's 10 times better here this afternoon than it was at 5 o'clock yesterday and then early in the evening. A fastball from the lefty is down and in to Brian Ingram. Ingram has 1 steal and 1 attempt. This Kane County club hitting .241 as a team. And bouncing one foul to the backstop, strike 2 is Brian Ingram. So Nick Touchstone is ahead in the count. Nick is a very tall lefty, looks a little bit like Chuck Finley, 6'5", 220. A curve, and the batter offered at it, but held up for ball 2. That's who Nick Touchstone reminds me most of, is Chuck Finley, 6'5", 220. Now the 2-2. And the batter checked his swing. The pitch rattled off his hands, and it's still a full count. Well, it's still 2-2. I think that ball hit his bat, and the count should be 2-2, not 3-2. But I may be wrong. Let's see if this is a payoff pitch. Curve, strike 3 called. Nick Touchstone throws Brian Ingram on a big, sharp-breaking curve, and there's 1 out in the Cougar top of the first inning. Kane County, as I said, is hitting .241 as a team. That's 7th in the Midwest League. Our pitching staff, with a team earned run average of just over 4, is 10th in the Midwest League. Here's Luke Appert. The sun, as I said, has disappeared for the moment. Skies are cloudy. And a light breeze, or rather a pretty strong breeze, a substantial breeze we'll call it, blowing from the left field foul pole to the right field foul pole. Luke Appert 1 for 3 last night, singled in the first inning, walked in the third inning, hitting .236. A strike on the inside corner at the knees to Luke Appert. This Kane County club wears sleeveless tops. In other words, kind of strongman shirts and then black sleeves underneath. They wear white shoes because they're an Oakland farm team. Touchstone's changeup is in the dirt for ball 2 to Luke Appert. Appert from the Minneapolis Twin City suburb of Cottage Grove, Minnesota. The big lefty deals a fastball low for ball 3. Aaron Peel in left for the Kernels, playing straightaway in center. Quan Cosby and Blake Balcom in right. Kernels in their white home uniforms with red lettering. And Appert walks a pitch high and in to Luke Appert from Nick Touchstone. 1 on, 1 out, and here's David Castillo for Kane County. David Castillo was 1 for 4 last night, a 2-out opposite field single in the 5th inning. Against Colonel pitching this season, Castillo is 6 for 17. David does some landscaping on the right side of the plate. He's a right-handed batter, so technically he stands to the left of home plate. Cocks his hands high above his ears and looks at a strike call. Castillo steps out, taps his spikes, and checks the signals being flashed from his third base coach and manager, Dave Joppi. Is Appert running? No. And a change-up is high and away to David Castillo for ball one. The Colonel infield this afternoon has, well, the most versatile guy I've seen in the league, Sean Rodriguez at third. He's playing extremely deep. Up the middle, Brandon Wood at second, Brandon Wood at short, Howie Kendrick at second, and Matt Abram holding the runner at first. Runner not going, and a pitch drilled into deep center, but Kwan is right there, and he has it. The crowd oohed and ah when that pitch was belted into center. Kwan only had to move one step back to make the grab. David Castillo hit it into the teeth of that wind, and that wind is coming in from left field. 2 away with Luke Appert holding it first, the batter David Harriman. It was a real treat seeing the Cost Cutters Dream Team take the field this afternoon. Some of them couldn't quite run as fast as the Kernels out to their positions, so the Kernels, as you heard our dugout interview guest Bob Teig note, are very nice to the kids, and the Kernel players would trot a little bit slower so the youngsters could keep up with them. A breaking pitch is a dandy, a strike call to the cleanup batter, David Harriman. Harriman from Armstrong Atlantic State, that's down in Savannah, Georgia. And he's a Canadian, a 23-year-old right-handed batter, David Harriman, 6 feet tall. Open stance and a bouncer to second. Howie Kendrick flips to the shortstop, Brandon Wood, to force the runner Appert. It went 4-6. And the Kernels and Nick Touchstone have had a terrific opening frame. No runs for the Cougars, no hits, no walk, no Colonel errors. Kane County leaves one aboard. And after 1/2 inning, the first place Kernels coming to bat. Kane County nothing. Kernels coming to bat. You're tuned to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
The spring planting season's finally arrived. Time to visit Peck's Flower and Garden Center to see what's new and beautiful for this growing season. The professional staff at Peck's has been busy getting ready for this time of year. Their plants are growing beautifully and their flowers are blooming brightly, ready for your selection. Stroll through Peck's Flower Shop, greenhouses, and acres of healthy plants and flowers, and choose yours. The experts at Peck's will add all the free advice to help make your flowers and plants grow their best. New and large selections of home, garden, and landscape accents are displayed for you to choose from. Now is the time to plan for new landscapes. Call Peck's experts for a professional landscape estimate. Peck's Flower and Garden Center at the corner of Blairsbury and Edgewood Roads Northeast, growing with the Cedar Rapids area since 1956. Open 8 to 5 Saturday, 9 to 5 Sundays.
Hey, I'm Hank, driver rig for Hockey Inc., hauling hockey all across America on a weekly basis. Chances are I'm on the road with you right now, loaded up with this week's shipment of 100% pure All-American hockey. Just a solid blend of work ethic, discipline, and teamwork. Made fresh, delivered fresh. So if you see me coming up in your rear view, make way.
Move it along, Sally. This ain't a parking lot.
The NHL on ESPN. Made in America, delivered on Thursdays.
Remember last night we noted that the Goodwill Blaster needed a little more juice, a little more CO2. Well, that's what the Colonel crew has done, headed by Jessica Ferguson. That's her client. The Goodwill T-shirt hot dog blaster has the crowd here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium on their feet. The most exciting 90 seconds in minor league baseball here at the new stadium is when the Goodwill Blaster makes its way around the warning track area and it shoots a T-shirt from Goodwill and a hot dog into every section of this ballpark. Nick Touchstone surrendered a one-out walk in the top of the first, but no harm done as the big lefty was impressive, and you talk about impressive, so is his opponent been this season, Chris Dunwell. Chris is not nearly the physical presence that Nick Touchstone is. Dunwell is 6 feet 1 inches tall, 200 pounds, from San Diego State, a 24-year-old. And the Colonel leadoff batter today is Howie Kendrick. Kendrick, 0 for 4 yesterday and last night, reached on an error in the 6th inning that helped the Colonels tie the game. In on the edge of the grass at third for the visitors, Brian Snyder. Kendrick hitting .286, 1 homer, 4 RBIs. He rips one into right. It's good right at Luis Perez, who has it. Howie Kendrick jumped on the first pitch and hit it right on the button, but lines out to right for the first out of the Colonel's first inning. Here's Quan Cosby. Quan's been in a mini tailspin. He reached on an error in the 6th inning with 1 out last night, and that helped the Colonels tie the game. Quan scored on a 2-out single by Matt Pauley to tie the game at 1. Quan is hitless in his last 13 at-bats. Ball 1. Ooh, a strike on the outside corner. I've got to watch the umpire. After all, they're brought to us by Anderson and Brown Eye Care, and my eyesight was not what it should have been on that first pitch. Quan, a switch hitter batting left, backs away from a pitch inside for a ball. Quan hitting .208, 1 homer, 1 RBI. Colonels in their red batting helmets. A bouncer to first will be an easy play for Trevor Brown. Trevor playing for the first time, and this, the 6th meeting between our two ball clubs, makes the play unassisted. And there are 2 away now in this bottom of the first inning. The batter, Brandon Wood. Brandon hitting .264, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. Wood, 0-for-4, reached on an error in the 8th inning last night. 2 away in the Colonel first inning. This Kane County pitching staff has a team ERA of 3.29, 7th of 14 teams in the Midwest League. Chris Dunwell with a 2.70 ERA. Delivers, and the first pitch is lifted foul high into the backstop by Brandon Wood, the Colonel shortstop. Dunwell does not bring his hands all the way over his head in his windup. He'll start at his belt, and then he brings his hands letter high, and then he brings the pitch homeward. This one is lifted into the Papa John's Plaza down the right field line, and Brandon's down in the count 0-2. The Colonels scratched and clawed their way to a hard-fought victory last night in the incessant drizzle and windy weather, 2-1, and they beat a very good pitcher, Brad Knox, who fanned 10 batters, 10 Colonels in 7 innings of good work. Wasting a pitch high and outside, a fastball, is Chris Dunwell. He's pitched 16 2/3 innings in 3 previous starts, allowed 16 hits in those 16 2/3, fanned 12, walked 5. Brandon, a right-handed hitting shortstop, lays off a pitch outside, a fastball. Count even 2-2. Chris Treidel is playing Brandon Wood extremely deep in right center field. A swing and a miss at a breaking pitch, and Brandon Wood fans to end the Colonel first inning. Right-hander Chris Dunwell retires the Colonel side in order, and as we go to the second, dry and warmer this afternoon, Colonels and Cougars no score. You're tuned to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Toyota Financial Services of Cedar Rapids understands the importance of reading in the lives of our community's children. That's why they're proud to fund the 6th annual Toyota Financial Services Colonel Summer Reading Program. The generous support of Toyota Financial Services will result in Colonel players conducting a record 32 elementary school assemblies this spring to encourage girls and boys to read throughout the summer. Their reading accomplishments will be recognized by Toyota Financial Services with fabulous rewards. Toyota Financial Services, a true hero to the Colonels and the youth of our community.
Knowing who you are is important. At Kirkwood Community College, we know who we are. We are accessibility. We are quality. We are opportunity. We are community. Who are you? We can help you learn. Kirkwood.edu.
Hey, I'm Hank, driver wig for Hockey Inc. Hauling hockey all across America on a weekly basis. Chances are I'm on the road with you right now, loaded up with this week's shipment of 100% pure All-American hockey. Just a solid blend of work ethic, discipline, and teamwork. Made fresh, delivered fresh. So if you see me coming up in your rear view, make way.
Move it along, Sally. This ain't a parking lot.
The NHL on ESPN. Made in America, delivered on Thursdays.
Brian Snyder looked like Shackleton going to the Arctic last night. He was bundled up so heavily that we noted, Theo Fifi and I, Theo, a 1997 Colonel outfielder, that We thought Brian Snyder never did warm up last night and was stiff. He looks much more limber and loose this afternoon as the rain is not a factor. Ball one outside to Brian Snyder from Nick Touchstone. Brian, a right-handed hitter with a slightly open stance. Takes low, a fastball ball to Snyder, nothing for 3 last night. Drew a 2-out walk in the first inning. First round pick of Oakland last year out of Stetson University, 22-year-old Brian Snyder. Takes a strike on the outside corner from Nick Touchstone. Nick last year with Provo pitched 48 innings, giving up just 47 hits, fanning 48 men in 48 innings, but walking 35. Ooh, a pitch just missed low, according to Scott Jarrett, the plate umpire. I don't know how much it missed by, but it was ruled ball 3. Snyder wears his gray Kane County trousers all the way down to his white shoe tops. And he walks the pitch in the dirt from Nick Touchstone, who issues his second base on balls. Now, Nick Touchstone will not go probably more than 60 pitches here at the most this afternoon because he's been used in relief 3 times by the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. He last pitched an inning of relief Thursday in Southern California against High Desert. The sun is trying to peek through the clouds, and when it does, it brightens everybody's spirits here. A bunt attempt is missed by the batter, and a throw whipped down to first by Tommy Duenas, not in time. Corey Weymouth, who didn't play last night, faked a bunt and didn't get the bat pulled back in time and missed it, strike 1. Corey is from Utah. He was 1 for 9 against us last weekend at Philip Elstrom Stadium. Touchstone, a soft throw to first, and no tag by Matt Abram. We're just underway. Top of the second inning, New Veterans Memorial Stadium. Overcast, but much nicer than yesterday and last night. The 0-1 to the right-handed batter, Weymouth. Low for ball 1. Corey Weymouth played quite a bit as a Cougar last year. 115 games. He hit .247 with 5 homers, 30 RBIs. 23rd round pick by Oakland in 2001 out of Salt Lake Community College. The 1-1 from the big lefty. A bunt push foul towards the Colonel first base dugout. A lot of the fans here this afternoon do have hooded sweatshirts and parkas and blankets and sleeping bags and stocking caps and gloves. You can't blame them. April has been rather cruel to us when we've played at home. We just haven't had much warm weather. A curve inside, and it's 2-2 to Corey Weymouth. But it's good to see so many folks here from Cleveland Elementary School. They're sitting right down below our zone broadcast booth to our left. Big group from Cleveland. Weymouth cues one foul into the Colonel dugout, and Colonel manager Bobby Magallanes was almost picked off. Oh, Bobby Magallanes had to duck out of the way of that foul ball. I see that Colonel season ticket holder Eric Hearn is sitting down there with some popcorn, and Eric, I think that ball almost hit Bobby. Another 2-2 to Corey Weymouth. Is the runner going? No. And a pitch lofted foul onto the Papa John's Plaza keeps the count even. 2-2 to Weymouth. Corey this season hitting .229. He's belted 1 homer and driven in 8 runs. He's wearing a black, hard plastic shield on the inside of his front left knee. That's an unusual place to be wearing a protective shield. Now Weymouth fouls another one into the backstop. Boy, this is some battle taking shape between the Colonel lefty making his debut as a Colonel this afternoon, 6'5" lefty Nick Touchstone, and right-handed batter Corey Weymouth. Weymouth wears a pair of white batting gloves. And grounds one hard to Howie Kendrick off his glove into shallow center. The runner will try for third. He will make it. A hard-hit smash off the backhanded attempt of Howie Kendrick was a base hit all the way. On to third goes Brian Snyder. Snyder made a very good base-running play as he saw that ball die in shallow center between Howie Kendrick and Quan Cosby. So credit Corey Weymouth for bashing one through the middle. Could Howie have Kendrick made the play? Yes. Should he have made the play less than 50-50? It was just too hot to handle. And it's first and third with nobody out for the Cougars as they threaten here in the second inning to jump out ahead. Trevor Brown is the batter. We haven't seen this kid yet. Trevor, not exactly a kid, 25 years old, out of Lewis and Clark State in Idaho, the school that produced our hitting coach, Justin Bachman. Ball one high and outside, and Tommy Duenas goes out to talk to Nick Touchstone. A new batch of baseballs from the Kernel first base dugout to plate umpire Scott Jarrett. Trevor Brown in 5 games is hitting .308 for Kane County. No homers, 1 RBI. He was with the Independent League Kalamazoo team 2 seasons ago, with Gateway in Illinois, near St. Louis of the Independent League last year. Ball 2 is high. Originally drafted by the Padres. Ball 2 is high to Trevor Brown. Trevor played in 23 games for the Gateway, I believe they're called Grizzlies. The 2-0. Inside, ball 3, and Nick Touchstone is in a big jam now. First and third, nobody out. And a 3-0 count on the batter, Trevor Brown. Brown's a right-handed hitter. Strike one called on the outside corner from the big Kernel lefty. The Kernels would gladly trade a double play for a run here, as we had to do in the first inning yesterday. That is the Kernel the infields at double play depth. Snyder at third, Wayman at first. Corey draws a throw, and Nick Touchstone almost heaved that one into the Kernel bullpen, and Matt Abram had to dart in front of the runner to prevent a wild pickoff throw. Trevor Brown has a big hole in the back of his britches. I'm not sure how he got that. He hasn't played in any of the first 5 games against us. Maybe he tore that pant leg in Peoria, where the Cougars came from. Nick Touchstone has slowed it down. He issued a leadoff walk to Brian Snyder, then a 2-2 base hit up the middle by Corey Wayman. Brown walks, ball 4 way high, and this is cause for concern as Nick Touchstone's control has deserted him here in the second inning. Bases loaded, nobody out for Chris Tridle, and boy, can he bring this crowd to life. Chris has a lot of folks rooting for him in the stands because he's from just 18 miles up the road in Center Point, Urbana. Tridle, in his 5th year of pro ball, was the Arizona Rookie League MVP back in 2001. He hit .336 in his 2nd year of pro baseball. A strike at the letters to Chris Tridle. Chris is filled out into an awesome-looking physique. He's 6'3", 195, a right-handed batter. Bases loaded, nobody out for the Cougars. A high pop foul is strike 2 to Chris Tridle. Tridle, nothing for 4 in last night's ball game, struck out 3 times. Kernel outfield is playing Chris Tridle to hit the other way. At least Quan Cosby is in center field. Will Touchstone come right after the batter? Yes, a curve and a swing at the miss. Nick Touchstone with a nasty curveball down and in gets Chris Tridle on strike swinging. 1 big out. Bases still loaded for the Cougars here in the top of the second. No score. Tomorrow and Tuesday nights we host the Quad City Swing, or shall I say their correct name, the Swing of the Quad City. They, by all accounts, wear a very unusual burnt orange road top, and they have yet to play a home game because the work at John O'Donnell Stadium is wrapping up. In fact, there's an open house this afternoon at John O'Donnell Stadium. But the the Swing have been on the road for their first 15 games. They have a 6-9 record. Ball 1 in the dirt, a changeup to Luis Perez, the number 9 hitter. He's a right-handed batter. Nothing for 4 last night. Robbed of an RBI single in the 4th inning by a diving catch in center by Quan Cosby. Ball 2 is just low to the right-handed batter, Perez. Bases loaded for Kane County, 1 out in the top of the second. Big Nick Touchstone comes set at the belt and delivers a high deep drive to right. Will be a grand slam. A grand slam in fair ground. 4-0, Kane County. Luis Perez got a pitch up out over the plate, and he sent it high and deep to right. Fair by about 10 feet. And a grand slam by the number 9 hitter makes it 4-0, Kane County. Wow. Well, there's an unexpected turn of bad for the Kernels. When you load the bases, you take your chances. 2 of the men aboard were there on walks, and we'll do some catching up. We'll play catch-up here this afternoon. 4-0 Cougars. A grand slam launched over the right field wall down the line by Luis Perez, his second home run of the year. A curve is low to Brian Ingram for ball 1. Well, Nick Touchstone has to remember this is his first start of the year. It's early. It's only the second inning, and he still has a chance to keep the Kernels in the game. He delivers a beautiful curveball. Strike 2. I said the first pitch was a ball. Strike 2 to Brian Ingram. Luis Perez went the other way and launched a home run, a grand slam over the right field wall. It's 325 feet down the right field line, and that ball was tailing, but unfortunately, even with the wind blowing it towards the foul pole, it stayed fair by about 10 feet for a grand slam. A curve low, and now strike 3 called. Brian Ingram is struck out looking for the second time in a row. 2 away in the Kane County second inning. The Cougars have struck for 4 on a grand slam. With the bases empty, Luke Appert will bat for the second time. Appert walked in the first inning. It is 325 down the right field line, 315 down the left field line here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium, 400 feet to dead center, and then a 30-foot high dark green net provides an ideal backdrop for the hitters. Ball 1 on a half swing, or a check swing rather, by Luke Appert, a fastball from Nick Touchstone. Nick is a giant of a man, 6'5", 220. This is 1-0. Is drilled into right, but right at Blake Balcom, he has it to end the inning. Luke Appert lines to right, and Cougars strike for 4 runs on a grand slam by their number 9 hitter on 2 hits, 2 walks. No Kernel errors. Kane County leaves the bases empty. Kernels come to bat in the home half of the second, down to Kane County 4-0. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
The Dan Patrick Show.
What did you do last night? Rich Eisen, former ESPN anchor, having a party, or I could have gone to the Playboy Mansion and the 50th anniversary.
Now, who were some of the famous people that were there besides yourself?
Famous people. Drew Carey was there. Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, you know who was there? Salami from the White Shadow.
Scott Baio was there again, right?
You've got to love Chachi. And the ratio was, I think, 7 women to every 1 guy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I did meet the triplets, who are from Minnesota.
All right.
Yeah, now that's 3-peat. That'd be the trifecta. That's the triple crown right there.
But you not only see the modern-day Playboy women, you saw, Mimi Van Buren was there. Was she like the 50th anniversary Playmate?
I think she was there in like 53 or something like that. She looked like she was there in 53, 1953.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays on ESPN Radio.
The way to pocket important savings is to take advantage of Chevron motor oils and lubricants from the Otson Oil Company, your local Chevron oil distributor. Chevron lubricants are made from high-quality base oils for better performance, and that means longer life for your engine. Contact the Otson Oil Company in Cedar Rapids for details on how you can save time and money with Chevron lubricants. The Otson Oil Company, serving Iowa with quality lubricants since 1933. Visit Otson Oil Company at www.otson.com.
Single games here tomorrow against the swing of the Quad Cities. 6:30. We'll have the dugout interview at 6:10 tomorrow night and Tuesday. We'll look forward to welcoming the kids from Wilkins Elementary School here tomorrow evening. Today, we have a lot of kids from Cleveland Elementary School. It's their day to shine. And hopefully the Kernels can chip away at this early lead by the Cougars, 4-0. Blake Balcom is batting cleanup for the first time this season in the Allen Motor Company order. 1 for 4 last night. A 1-out double in the second inning. Blake's a right-handed hitter with a .295 average. He swats the first pitch foul off the top of the backstop, strike one. Chris Dunwell retired the Kernels in order in the bottom of the first inning. Several of the Cougars, including their center fielder Chris Tritle, blowing warm air onto his hands, his right hand out in center field. Balcom shoots one hard into right, and it's caught by Luis Perez. Blake Balcom got very good wood on it, but lined it out to his counterpart for the first out of the Kernels' second inning. 4 straight retired by Dunwell. Chris Dunwell pitched in 30 games in relief for the Cougars last season. He was 4-0 with 3.21 ERA with 2 saves. Dunwell pitched 53 in the third innings last year for Kane County. Gave up just 44 hits in 53 in the third. Struck out 53 and 53 in the third, walked 21. A strike on the outside corner to Caleb Mayer. Caleb playing for the first time since he was lifted from action in a doubleheader at Clinton with a spike wound to his index finger of his right hand. Swing and a miss by Mayer, strike 2. Caleb hitting .235, no home runs, 5 driven in. All one way high to Caleb Mayer. Our Culver small fry is from Cleveland Elementary School. She's down below. She's set to take the field with Mr. Shucks in just a few moments. She registered at either of the Culver's frozen custard and Butterburger restaurants, one near Westdale Mall, just a fly ball away from our new stadium on Edgewood Road Southwest. The other Culver's where you can register your son or daughter. Caleb taps one to shortstop. Brian Ingram gets a big hop, throws low, safe. Ooh, out at first. The first baseman was way off the base, yet they called Caleb out. Ooh, that first baseman was a foot and a half off the bag, yet Tyler Funneman called Caleb Mayer out. It was 6-3. Now, that was a case where the umpire should not have given the call because the throw was in the dirt, and Trevor Brown took his foot off the base to prevent a wild throw, yet he got the call. Caleb gone, 6-3. You can register your son or daughter for their chance to register as the Culver small fry of the game. Take the field between innings of a Kernel game and get the autograph of their favorite Kernel player on their Culver's cap by visiting either of the Culver's frozen custard and Butterburger restaurants. The 0-1 to Sean Rodriguez, who fouled the first pitch back, is now drilled foul onto the Papa John's Plaza right field line. 0-2 to Sean Rodriguez. Sean, hitting .176, has slugged 2 homers this year, driven in 5 runs. Rodriguez did not play in last night's Kernel 2-1 victory. 4-0 Cougars, bottom of the second, 2 away, nobody on, and a pitch in the dirt to Rodriguez. Our little Culver small fry is down below. She's ready to take the field to get the autograph of her favorite Kernel player, which happens to be the batter, Sean Rodriguez. The 1-2 to Rodriguez. Breaking pitch from the right-hander in the dirt for ball 2. Sean, just 18 years old, out of Miami. 3rd-round pick of the Angels last year. Dunwell's 2-2. Grounded, base hit past third. Diving effort by Brian Snyder. He couldn't get it. Big turn by Sean Rodriguez as Corey Wayment came sliding into barehanded, and the Kernels have their first hit of the day, a 2-out single bashed into left field by Sean Rodriguez. And that brings up Aaron Peel. Peel, 1 for 3 last night, doubled and scored in the 7th inning to put the Kernels ahead. 2-1, that's the score by which the Kernels won the game. Sean Rodriguez smacked one on the ground hard past the diving third baseman Brian Snyder, our first base runner. Sean Rodriguez. Strike 1 to Aaron Peel at the knees of fastball. Aaron hitting .222, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. A throw to first, and Rodriguez back safely, standing up. Our biggest crowd of perhaps since opening day here this afternoon. Swing and a miss by Peel. A sharp slider had Aaron flying that front shoulder out. He's in the hole, 0-2. Outfield extremely deep for the Cougars, which surprises me with the wind blowing in. A throw to first. Rodriguez back standing up again. Rodriguez being held at first by Trevor Brown. Sean runs and now stops as Aaron Peel lifts one foul out of play to the right. Kane County in gray road uniforms, black sleeves, green numbers, black hats, white shoes. Kernels, home white uniforms, red stripe down the white pants, red lettering on the front trimmed in black that says Kernels in Anaheim Angel font. Peel on another 0-2 takes it in the dirt, and a good stop by David Harriman to prevent a wild pitch. Harriman in black shin guards and a black chest protector. Uses a conventional mask. Boy, more and more catchers were going to that hockey-like Charlie O'Brien catcher's mask, but it seems the trend now is back towards the traditional mask. 4-0 Cougars, bottom of the second inning, 1 on, 2 out for the Kernels. Aaron Peel stays alive and tips one foul between the legs of the catcher, David Harriman. At least the Kernels are making Chris Dunwell earn his keep here. He's had to make quite a few pitches after he retired Blake Balcom and Caleb Mayer to start this second inning. The 1-2 headed home to Peel. A pitch ripped to short off the glove of the shortstop. Everybody's safe. Aaron Peel with a terrific at-bat bashed a one-hopper that literally ate Brian Ingram alive. Ingram tried to backhand it. It flicked off the heel of his mitt and then dribbled a few feet to his left. No play for Brian Ingram and a tough scoring call for Al Gruwell. He is given an error to Brian Ingram, and that call could go either way. I think I know what Al Gruwell's reasoning is. The ball was hit right at Brian Ingram. It was hit like a bullet, a one-hop shot, and it was do or die for Ingram. But the fact that he didn't have to move a step is likely why Al Gruwell ruled it an error on Ingram, his fourth of the season. Now Matt Abram with 2 on, 2 out takes a strike on the outside corner. Matt Abram hitting 158, no homers, 5 RBIs. Out of the University of Arizona, a Minnesota Twin 38th round pick back in 2001. Abram in his second season as an Anaheim Angel minor leaguer, second season as a Kernel. Curve and a swing and a miss by Matt, strike 2. Back-to-back, or a single and an error by the shortstop, but 2 hard hit balls by Rodriguez and Peel have the Kernels threatening with 2 out here in the home half of the second. A 0-2 delivery. Ooh, it just missed, and I don't blame the Cougars for wanting the call. They did not get it from the plate umpire, Scott Jarrett. That was a very good 0-2 pitch to Matt Abram. He took it just outside and low. Rodriguez at second, Aaron Peel at first. Here's the 1-2 to Abram. Inside, a curveball, and now the deuces are wild. 2 out, 2 on, 2-2 count to the batter. The kids from Cleveland Elementary School down below ready to spring to life if Abram can come through. Matt tips one foul into the mid of the catcher, strike 3, and the Kernels are unable to cash in on a 2-out scoring opportunity. No runs for the Kernels in the second. 1 hit, 1 Cougar error. The Kernels leave a pair, their first 2 stranded today. We go to the top of the third with Kane County leading 4-0. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
With all the talk about rising gas prices, doesn't it make sense to drive a fuel-efficient vehicle? You can when you buy with confidence at Randy Keel Honda. Get up to 51 miles to the gallon with the Honda Civic Hybrid. Every Honda model has awesome fuel efficiency. Don't wait for $2 a gallon gas to buy a fuel-efficient car. Not when you can save time and money now by previewing Randy Keel's fuel-efficient inventory online at randykeel.com. Right now, lease a 2004 Honda Accord LX for only $235 per month. At Randy Keel Honda, you'll find many great buys under $5,000 too. Randy Keel is the home of confidence, a 7-year, 100,000-mile guarantee. Randy Keel is dedicated on getting you the lowest possible price backed by the best service in the Midwest. Stop by and see for yourself at Randy Keel Honda, Center Point Road Northeast in Cedar Rapids, or visit them on the web at randykeel.com. Accord LX lease, 36 months, $14.88 due at lease signing. Includes first month's payment, security deposit, capitalized cost reduction, and excludes tax and license.
The Crown Plaza 5 Seasons is Cedar Rapids' exclusive downtown hotel. Make plans to experience a spectacular view from the top of the 5 restaurant. Start your day off with us for breakfast or make a lasting impression on your business associates by treating them to our signature lunch buffet that changes daily. For any occasion, enjoy an elegant dinner or the Eddie Picard Jazz Trio in the city's only rooftop restaurant. The Crown Plaza 5 Seasons, top of the 5.
Remember, Colonel fans, anytime the Kernels put a Taco Bell 10 spot on the board, home or away, win or lose this season, it means a great deal at Cedar Rapids Taco Bell's the next business day and night. Beef tacos up to 10 per customer for just 39 cents. Ordinarily, those beef tacos are 89 cents, but when the Kernels score 10 runs, you get up to 10 beef tacos for just 39 cents at Cedar Rapids Taco Bell's. You need to tell the folks when you order your beef tacos that you're there because the Kernels scored 10 runs or achieved a Taco Bell 10 spot. Middle of the order for Kane County in the top of the third, and David Castillo swings and tips one foul off the shin guards of Tommy Duenas, strike one. Castillo flew out to center in the first inning. A pair of Nick Touchstone walks, a single and a home run spelled a grand slam for Kane County in the second by their number 9 hitter. A change-up is low to the right-handed batter Snyder. Outfield plays Bryan straight away. So this is David Castillo, David Castillo takes outside for ball 2. It's Castillo, Harriman, then Bryan Snyder here in the top of the third for Kane County. Kernels start play today, a game ahead of the Cougars, a game and a half up on Clinton and Peoria. A high pop foul beyond the reach of Tommy Duenas behind home plate. Up onto the grandstand roof, strike 2 to David Castillo. The Kernels are 10-6 here at home, 6-2 against Kane County this season so far, 3-2. The Cougars trying to gain a split in this mini 2-game set. The Kernels trying to increase their lead over the Oakland A minor leaguers to 2 games. A curveball, and that one is driven foul into the Papa John's Plaza down the right field line. Touchstone's 2-2. A breaking pitch just low, and the count is full now. Nothing doing in the Colonel bullpen. We told you that Nick Touchstone wouldn't be expected to go too awfully long here in his first start of the season. Rafael Rodriguez has been put on the disabled list, and he'll be out for a week or two. A high pop foul off to the right keeps the count full to David Castillo. Rafael incurring some soreness in his right elbow, a strained ligament, so he's been shelved indefinitely. David Castillo ready for another payoff pitch. A high fly ball on the infield. Brandon Wood 2 steps onto the grass, now on dirt again at shortstop. Has it for the first out of the third inning. We'll credit Nick Touchstone for getting David Castillo after David fouled off several 3-2 pitches. David is nothing for 2. The batter, David Harriman. Now the Kernels get a right-hander up in their bullpen. Jesse Smith. Jesse Smith is warming up in the Colonel right field bullpen. The batter for King County, David Harriman, hit into an inning-ending force-out in the first inning. Ball 1 up and in from Nick Touchstone to David Harriman. David is a right-handed batter. Open stance. And he's the cleanup hitter. Strike one at the knees, a fastball. The last time Jesse Smith worked was Friday night in a Kernel loss to Clinton. A ground ball through the right side. Diving attempt by Howie Kendrick, but it snuck underneath his glove into right field for a one-out single. That is the third hit of the day for Kane County. Howie Kendrick moved quickly to his left, dove headlong, but Harriman's ground ball went through for a one-out single. Boy, you got so used to Alberto Cayaspo and Eric Ibar making such spectacular plays, big league plays last year, that every time one sneaks through a legitimate base hit, you say, oh, we could have had that one. But that's how much Alberto and Eric spoiled us last year. And our defense has been excellent this season. Up the middle, Brandon Wood and Howie Kendrick have done a terrific job fielding. Ball one is low to Brian Snyder, who walked and scored on the grand slam in the last inning. Ball two in the dirt as Nick Touchstone falls behind. Jesse Smith, Friday night in Clinton, went an inning in the third, gave up 3 runs on 1 hit, struck out 1, walked 3. He will likely take over fairly soon for Nick Touchstone. The southpaw comes set at the belt. The 2-0 to the right-handed hitter moves him off the plate. Ball 3 inside. And that's what Nick Touchstone will have to continue working on in his young professional career, is his control. The Anaheim Angels like everything about him. Control is usually the last ability for a youngster to harness. Ball 4 is down and in, and that is 4 walks issued by the Kernel starter, Nick Touchstone. Down to second, David Harriman, as Brian Snyder walks. Here comes Eric Bennett, the Kernel pitching coach, out to the hill. And that'll give us a chance, thanks to Mike Kuhlbeck, to give you some surprising news about former Kernels. Mike did a sweeping investigation of former Kernels and where they are now, and on this Sunday we thought it would be fun to share them with you. Greg Jacobs, a pitcher for the Kernels in 1999, transformed from the Hill, is now an outfielder, and he led the California League in hitting last year. Greg Jacobs is with AA San Antonio with the Seattle Mariners. Former Kernel second baseman Johnny Rayburn is now in AA with the Milwaukee Brewer organization in Huntsville, Alabama. Former Kernel catcher Jason Hill, a catcher here in 1999, is now in AA ball with the Cincinnati Red organization in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Jeff Guile, whose older brother Aaron is a regular for the Kansas City Royals. Aaron Guile, a former Kernel. Jeff Guile is with the Toronto. A high, deep drive to left, maybe on to 8th Avenue. No, it's going to be caught in front of the track by Aaron Peel. Wow, Corey Weymouth hit a towering deep fly that scared the bejeebers out of me. I thought that thing had home run written all over it, but calmly Aaron Peel drifted back and caught it in front of the warning track. A lot of times I'll judge the depth of a ball by how high it is in the air. And that was a towering fly ball to deep left, but not a home run. A long second out as Corey Weymouth golfed one high in the air in left, where Aaron Peel calmly went back to catch it. Yes, Jeff Guile, a 1997 Kernel, is with the Toronto Blue Jays AAA ball club in Syracuse, New York, the Syracuse Chiefs. 4-0 King County. They bat in the third inning with 2 on and 2 out, and a pitch is high to Trevor Brown, who walked and was aboard on the Luis Perez opposite field grand slam in the second inning. Nick Touchstone, if he can get out of this inning, will likely give way to Jesse Smith, the right-hander. Brown takes low and in for ball 2. Trent Durrington. Remember Trent and his hard-nosed approach to the Australian second baseman? He spent some time with the big club, the Anaheim Angels. He's now on the Milwaukee Brewer roster. Trent Durrington with the Brewers. The 2-0 to Trevor Brown, a right-handed hitter. Fouled into the Papa John's Plaza down the right field line. It's 2-1 to the batter. Of course, Big Sean Wooten from the 1997 Kernel Playoff Club and a member of the 2002 World Champion Anaheim Angels, was not tendered a contract by the big club, and he's with Larry Boa and his Philadelphia Phillies. 1997 Colonel Sean Wooten with the Phillies. Brown lays off a pitch low, and it's 3-1 to Trevor Brown. Plenty of other former Colonels to report on, and we'll do it as we go along here this afternoon. Nick Touchstone desperately needs to throw a strike and cannot do it. That will likely be it for Nick Touchstone. He walks his fifth man to load the bases with 2 out here in the third inning. Bobby Magallanes will likely have to come out and get Nick Touchstone. Yes, he will. That's it for Nick Touchstone. Nick Touchstone will be lifted from this game. And in his first start of the season, he goes 2 2/3. He has been charged with 4 runs so far on 3 base hits. The tall lefty struck out 3, and that old lack of control, the bug bit him pretty hard this afternoon. He leaves having walked 5 men. A U.S. Cellular call to the Colonel bullpen has Jesse Smith entering this game. We told you earlier that Jesse Smith pitched Friday in Clinton and had a rough outing. The 23-year-old right-hander out of Illinois Valley Community College, an Angels 6th-round pick last year, an inning and a third, allowed 3 runs on 1 hit, struck out 1, and walked 3. Jesse Smith is on in relief for the Kernels. Let me give you the phone number to call to catch the action. The weather is supposed to just keep getting better and better tomorrow and Tuesday. Come on out and join us for the most affordable, wholesome, fun family entertainment in all of eastern Iowa. Colonel Baseball here at the marvelous new Veterans Memorial Stadium. The box office number to call for tickets, 896-7560. That's 896-7560 for the box office for Colonel tickets. Jesse Smith comes in under a great deal of pressure. Bases loaded, 2 out. Chris Tritle, who struck out with the bases loaded and nobody out in the second inning, is the hitter for Kane County. Jesse Smith, no record, pitching for the 6th time, a 7.59 ERA. Jesse has no saves. In 10 2/3 innings, Smith has surrendered 9 earned runs on 9 hits. Smith has struck out 10 men in 10 2/3, walked 8. The league is hitting .225 against right-handed reliever Jesse Smith. Hey, Kirby, our friend from the Cedar Rapids Solid Waste and Recycling Department down below. It looks like he'll give a recycling tip. Well, actually, what he's going to do is review some of the rules that are outlined in the beige or tan flyer that we all received recently from the Cedar Rapids Solid Waste and Recycling Department about bulky item collection. The do's and don'ts, they're all on that tan or beige flyer that Kirby will be showing us. After the Cougars are retired here in their half of the third, they lead at 4-0. The batter is Chris Tritle, right-handed hitter. Jesse Smith's big yellow hammer is a strike called. Great to see many of the Colonel Diamond Suites full here this afternoon. Overcast, cool day, but dry. The 0-1 to the big right-handed hitter Tritle is a swing and a miss by Chris, strike 2. Tritle steps all the way out of the dirt batting circle. And Jesse Smith, with the bases loaded, works the 0-2 pitch home from the stretch. Curve, and it's fouled straight back. Tritle just about jumped out of his white shoes and trying to pulverize that 0-2 hanging curveball from Jesse Smith. Chris uses a white ash bat, wears a pair of white batting gloves, and he has he stands straight away from the right side. Jesse Smith came right after him on the last 0-2 pitch. Here's the next. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Chris Treidel is rung up by the plate umpire, Scott Jarrett. What a key pivotal moment in this game as Jesse Smith comes on in relief with the bases loaded and prevents the Cougars from adding to their lead. No runs for Kane County in the third. 1 hit, 2 walks, no Colonel errors. Kane County leaves the bases full. They've left 4 men on. We go to the bottom of the third. It's Colonels trailing King County 4-0. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Papa John's pizza, it's so good. Better is best, that's understood. Better call Papa John's tonight. Better call Papa, he's got it right. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Attention baseball fans, call your local Papa John's for our home run special. Get a large pizza with up to 3 toppings of your choice for only $9.99.
Papa John's. Better call Papa.
Renowned for his blazing fastball, Iowa's Hall of Fame pitcher Bob Feller earned the nickname Rapid Robert. The baseball immortal performed miraculous feats no matter which name he was called. The same holds true for Banks Heating and Air Conditioning. They're now known as Comfort Solutions by Banks. The new name, Comfort Solutions by Banks, brings with it the same quality and dependability you've counted on for years. Receive up to $1,000 rebate or up to a 10-year extended warranty with the purchase of qualifying Dave Lennox Signature Collection Home Comfort Systems from Comfort Solutions by Banks. Offer expires May 31st, 2004. Lennox, making your home a better place. Lennox dealers include independently owned and operated businesses. See your participating Lennox dealer, Comfort Solutions by Banks, for details.
A grand slam off Colonel starter Nick Touchstone by number 9 hitter Luis Perez in the second inning has the Cougars on top here, 4-0. Want to remind you, as we've just passed the top of the hour, that you're enjoying Colonel Baseball on ESPN Radio 1600 AM, KCRG, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The man who hit the grand slam, Luis Perez in right field. The leadoff man for the Colonels in the bottom of the third, Tommy Duenas. Tommy sent a double soaring over the head of the left fielder in last night's game. That was Luis Perez in the 7th inning to bring home Aaron Peel with the game-winning run in the bottom of the 7th inning. Duenas tries to pull an outside pitch and rattles it foul behind home plate, strike 1. Tommy hitting at 103, no homers, 2 RBIs. The sun is starting to try to peek through again, and boy, when it does, is it ever welcome here on this cool but certainly nicer Sunday than we've had the last couple of home games. The ground ball mash foul past third has Duenas in the hole, 0-2. So far, Chris Dunwell has allowed no runs on 1 hit. He pitched around a jam in the last inning. In the second, Sean Rodriguez, a base hit into left with 2 out. Then Aaron Peel reached on an error committed by the shortstop Brian Ingram, but Matt Abrams struck out to end the Colonel threat. A breaking pitch is taken low by Tommy for ball 1. 378 to the left center field power alley here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium. 390 to deep right center beneath the scoreboard. Swing and a miss by Tommy on a slider, and that's the third strikeout recorded by the Cougar right-hander Chris Dunwell. 1 away in the Colonel third, 4-0 Kane County. There are no signs or billboards on the wall here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium, with the exception of the left field wall at the 315 sign just to the right of it, a 16-foot high padded wall, white with blue lettering that says Randy Keel Confidence Picnic Pavilion, then Randy Keel's website below it. Everything else on the wall, well, nothing else on the wall. It's all green, 8 feet high once you get beyond the Randy Keel Honda 16-foot high wall leading up to the picnic pavilion. A swing and a miss by Howie Kendrick. 1-1 to the Colonel leadoff man. He bounces one to third foul, backhanded by Brian Snyder. Strike 2 on Howie Kendrick. Where does the advertising come into play here? Above the left and right field walls are what are known as tri-vision signs. That is, they display an advertising message, and they rotate every 3 minutes. They flip. A slider low and away in the dirt, but Howie Kendrick went fishing and didn't get it. Strike 3 swinging. And that's 4 strikeouts, 3 in a row by Chris Dunwell. 2 out here in the Kernel third inning with nobody on. We're down 4-0. Jeff Johnson did his usual good job of getting player and staff reaction to last night's Kernel 2-1 win. And here's a slow roll into first by Quan Cosby, the first baseman, underhands to the pitcher covering. Quan is grounded out Trevor Brown to the pitcher covering. And the Kernels go quickly and quietly in order at the bottom of the third inning. 1-2-3-0 across. I'll get back to Jeff Johnson's article in just a moment. But for now, we take a break after 3 innings, 4-0 Kane County, and you're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
At Zimmerman's, we believe that the voice of the customer speaks the loudest. Let's hear what our customers have to say.
We chose Zimmerman because our family has been buying cars. I guess we're probably the third generation to buy cars here at Zimmerman.
My family's bought 18 cars at Zimmerman. 18. I ought to get a little bonus or something, wouldn't it?
We build our reputation on one satisfied customer at a time. On behalf of everyone at Zimmerman's, I want to thank you for your business.
Your husband has a sore throat and he's whimpering about getting checked. That's when you make a mental note to yourself, must find family doctor.
How do you find the right doctor for your family?
It was easier than I thought. I called the number, and 3 minutes later, I had the names of 3 doctors who were in my neighborhood and were taking new patients.
Just call the Mercy Care referral line at 369-4444.
My Mercy Care doctor doesn't rush me out of the room with me saying, but what about, how do I? They take the time to answer my questions, even the silly ones.
It's that extra understanding, compassion, and care that Mercy Care community physicians practice every day.
So I got that doctor thing figured out. Now what do I do about that whimpering husband?
Find the right doctor for your family. Just call 369-4444 or find out more about our family doctors on the web at www.mercycaredoctors.com. Finding a doctor you really like. That's real life. That's the Mercy Touch.
After 3 innings, 4 runs, 3 hits, 1 error committed by King County, the visitors, and the Kernels, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Jesse Smith came on in relief for the starter Nick Touchstone and struck out Chris Stridle, the center pointer Banda native, to end that bases-loaded threat by the Cougars. Luis Perez, who went the other way and belted a grand slam his first time up. The difference in this game, Luis will face Jesse Smith for the first time this afternoon. Perez's home run was his second of the year. He bounces one back to Jesse Smith, who fields it right on the rubber and throws out Luis Perez. Jesse Smith had the easiest of comebackers he'll ever handle in his pro career. He literally just went into his follow-through position and took the one hopper without any wasted motion. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the Cougar fourth inning. Our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question comes your way in the top of the 6th inning. So we want to encourage you to stay with us and participate in that for your chance to win a $5 gift certificate to the Springhouse. Continuing our report from Mike Kuhlbeck's research on where former Kernels are. Again, 1994 Colonel Aaron Guile, an everyday outfielder for the Kansas City Royals. A strike is in to Brian Ingram. He's struck out looking twice. Ball 1 low. Doug Nickel, a starting pitcher for the Kernels in 1998, has pitched in the big leagues with Philadelphia and the Angels. He's now a member of the Dodger organization. Nickel at AAA Las Vegas. Ball 2 is low and outside to Brian Ingram. Michael Colangelo, one of Gary Templeton's favorite players here in 1998, is now with the Florida Marlins AAA Albuquerque team. A pitch pulled foul, fielded in foul ground by Matt Abram at first, and it's 2-2 to Brian Ingram. Yeah, Michael Colangelo got a little bit of time in the major leagues with the parent club of these Cougars, the Oakland A's, a year or two ago, but now he's with the Florida Marlin organization. Scott Bukowski with the White Sox AA team in Charlotte, North Carolina. Bukowski was a teammate of Michael Keefe's here in the year 2000. Ball 3 from Jesse Smith, misses low and inside to the leadoff batter, Brian Ingram. 1 out, nobody on. Cougars batting in the top of the 4th, holding a 4-0 advantage. Jesse's payoff pitch. Tap to first. Easy play for Matt Abram. He waves off Jesse Smith, the pitcher, and makes the unassisted putout. 2 away in the Cougar 4th inning, and 3 in a row, pocketed by right-hander Jesse Smith. Robbie Sasser and Nate Murphy. They were both members of the 1997 Kernel team, and they're both with AA Birmingham in the White Sox organization in the Southern League. Boy, Rob Sasser hit that memorable home run in 1997 in a Kernel 8-run come-from-behind 9th-inning victory in the playoffs over the Burlington Bees. The Bees were a red farm team then. Our skipper in 97, Mario Mendoza. Ball 1 inside to Luke Appert. Rob Sasser got 1 at bat with the Texas Rangers in the major leagues. I think in 98 or 99. He's still playing, and so's Nate Murphy out of the University of Massachusetts with the White Sox organization. Ball 2 missed inside to the left-handed batting. Luke Appert walked in the first, flew out to right in the second. A pitch corked fair past the diving Matt Abram at first into the right field corner. Blake Balcom will dig it out, but not before the batter Appert arrives at second standing up with a 2-out double. That double is the 6th of the year by Luke Appert. He's in scoring position with 2 out here in the Cougar 4th for David Castillo. Jesse Smith has surrendered a 2-out double to Luke Appert. Boy, this was great research done by Mike Kuhlbeck. We mentioned Mike O'Keefe from Providence College, had a couple of really good years at AA with the Angels, but was released. Mike is now with the Portland team in the AA ranks of the Eastern League. He's a Boston Red Sox minor leaguer, along with Mike Campo. Mike, a perennial 300 hitter. Why he can't get a crack at the big leagues out of Penn State, nobody will know. A curve low to David Castillo. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? I remember somebody asked, or it was Lou Gehrig's wife. I was reading an article about Lou Gehrig, a curve outside to Castillo, 2-0. Mrs. Gehrig asked Lou Gehrig, what's the difference between a major leaguer and a minor leaguer? And I'll give you Lou Gehrig's answer in a moment. The 2-0. Steer right call on the outside corner. Lou Gehrig said to his wife, 1 step. 1 step is the difference between a AAA ball player and nowadays sometimes a AA prospect and the big leagues. Mike Campo, though, and Mike O'Keefe, teammates in the Red Sox organization at AA Portland, Maine. A high fly ball into deep left center. Aaron Peel may not get there. He does. Aaron Peel had it all the way in his sights as he ran to his left in left center field. To one hand, the David Castillo fly ball. In the 4th inning, no runs for King County. 1 hit, a 2-out double. No Kernel errors. 1 left by the visitors. Their 5th man stranded in 4 at-bats. Hey, Jesse Smith in relief of Nick Touchstone, the starter, keeping the Kernels in this game. After 3.5, King County 4, the Kernels nothing. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Any high school athlete can be the next TV9 Cedar Rapids Dodge Athlete of the Week. First, nominate your athlete Saturday through Monday from any sport of any high school in the TV9 viewing area. Do it on the Zone1600.com, KCRG.com, or call Newsline 9 at 365-9999. 365-9999. See the weekly finalist Tuesday on TV9 News at 6. Then vote for your favorite. Vote at the Zone1600.com, KCRG.com, or on CityLine. In Cedar Rapids, it's 363-7000. Check local listings for the number. Then enter category prep. That's category 7737. And finally, Hear the winner with Scott Unash on game day here on The Zone. See the winner's gallery on thezone1600.com. And meet the winner Thursday on TV9 News at 10. The TV9 Cedar Rapids Dodge Athlete of the Week on KCRG TV9 and here on The Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM.
ESPN Radio plays the hits.
Drilled deep down the left field line. It is gone.
All kind of hits.
A swing and a base hit in the left field.
The hits of Major League Baseball.
It's swung on, grounded out to second. Back to first for the 4-6-3 double play. Nicely done.
Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio.
And you'll hear that Major League Baseball here on ESPN Radio. The Zone tonight. The featured game, the Braves and Marlins down in Miami. The world champion Marlins hosting Atlanta tonight right here on The Zone. For the Kernels, Brandon Wood, Blake Balcom, and Caleb Mayer, the heart of the order. 3 right-handed hitters to face right-handed Chris Dunwell. Cougars on the strength of a second-inning grand slam by their number 9 hitter own a 4-0 lead. Brandon stands in and a curve drops in for a strike to Brandon Wood. Leads the team with 14 runs driven in. I didn't finish my story about reading Jeff Johnson's article in the Gazette Sports section this morning about yesterday's and last night's Kernel 2-1 win. Bobby Magianis, the Kernel skipper coaching at third, was quoted, "Here's a high fly ball into shallow right. Luis Perez saunters in underneath it and has it. Brandon Wood was halfway to second when that ball finally came down into the mid of the right fielder. 1 out in the Kernel fourth. Bobby Magianis was quoted as saying that the Kernels have not hit yet. And he's right. We're hitting .234 as a team, 8th in the 14-team Midwest League. And Bobby wasn't being critical. You can't be critical of a team 10-6. He was very pleased with our fielding, our base running, and our approach to the game. But he said we haven't hit and that we're striking out too much and that we need to make adjustments to bring a game at each at-bat. And that's the hardest thing for the players at this level to do, is to make adjustments in order to counter what the pitcher or the situation calls for. It's very difficult to do that at this level. A curve, a swing and a miss by the cleanup batter Blake Balcom. Now a fastball, swing and a miss. Blake walks out of the box. The right-handed hitter's in the hole, 0-2. Balcom hitting .295, a home run, 8 RBIs. Lined out to right. First pitch swinging to open up the Kernel's second. He takes one way high, wasted by Chris Dunwell. Dunwell went to San Diego State, the same school that produced Tony Gwynn. Breaking pitch is low, and it's 2-2 to Blake Balcom. Chris Dunwell wearing a long-sleeve black shirt underneath his gray road Kane County jersey. Was ahead 0-2, now it's 2-2. A high fly ball lazily hit into shallow right. On comes Perez to make the catch. Luke Appert went way out into right. He thought he might have to come to the rescue, but the ball carried out to Perez. And 2 gone here in the Kernel fourth inning. That is already 4 putouts for the right fielder, Luis Perez. Nothing shaking for the Kernels yet on offense. Caleb Mayer grounded to short, his first time up. The right-handed batter, serving as the DH, takes a breaking pitch for a strike on the outside corner. Well, Chris Dunwell is showing us similar stuff that Brad Knox, the right-hander, did yesterday. Knox, a tough 2-1 loss, pitched 7 innings against the Kernels and struck out 10. Dunwell hasn't fanned as many, but he's pitched equally well. He drops a curveball in for strike 2 to Caleb Mayer. And remember, one thing about the Oakland draft philosophy with Billy Bean, here's the 1-2 to Caleb, a curve outside. They draft almost exclusively college-seasoned players. For instance, this right-hander is 24 years old. And that's just the fact of how Oakland likes to draft. They don't draft many high school kids, although they did draft Chris Treidel 5 years ago, but that's before Billy Bean became their general manager. Caleb lifts a curveball foul over the backstop. It's still 2-2 to Mayer. Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and that is the 5th strikeout in 4 innings for the Kane County right-hander. He's cruising along, making mincemeat of the Kernels so far. Down in order go the Kernels, and 7 straight Kernels have fallen by the wayside at the hands of right-hander Chris Dunwell. We move to the top of the 5th inning on this overcast, cool, but dry Sunday afternoon, and King County leads the Kernels 4-0. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
With all the talk about rising gas prices, doesn't it make sense to drive a fuel-efficient vehicle? You can when you buy with confidence at Randy Keel Honda. Get up to 51 miles to the gallon with the Honda Civic Hybrid. Every Honda model has awesome fuel efficiency. Don't wait for $2 a gallon gas to buy a fuel-efficient car. Not when you can save time and money now by previewing Randy Keel's fuel-efficient inventory online at randykeel.com. Right now, lease a 2004 Honda Accord LX for only $235 per month. At Randy Keel Honda, you'll find many great buys under $5,000 too. Randy Keel is the home of confidence, a 7-year, 100,000-mile guarantee. Randy Keel is dedicated on getting you the lowest possible price backed by the best service in the Midwest. Stop by and see for yourself at Randy Keel Honda, Center Point Road Northeast in Cedar Rapids, or visit them on the web at randykeel.com. Accord LX lease, 36 months, $14.88 due at lease sign. Includes first month's payment, security deposit, capitalized cost reduction, and excludes tax and license.
When it comes to fun in the new Veterans Memorial Stadium, nothing compares to the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM Home Run Hot Tub. As you bask in the soothing comfort of the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM Home Run Hot Tub, you'll be taking in the action from a breathtaking perch just above the left field wall. Register for your chance to be drawn as the winner of the Westdale Mall Mix 96.5 FM Home Run Hot Tub by visiting Westdale Mall.
On Cleveland Elementary School Day here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium, the Kernels trail 4-0 after 4 innings. We've whipped Kane County 3 out of 5 times and lead the Cougars in the Western Division first half standings by a game. Right-handed hitting. David Harriman takes a ball low. Harriman, a right-handed hitter, is grounded out or forced a man on a ground out and singled. Boy, that Sun steer still trying to come out here on Sunday as Jesse Smith works the 1-0 home. It's a curve low for ball 2. We always like hearing about folks, family members, loved ones, relatives who listen to our games from sea to shining sea on the internet. And we have that luxury. We've had it the last 4 or 5 years thanks to the great engineering of the folks at the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600. We get nice emails from parents and friends and loved ones about our internet broadcasts. And we've received very good news from a visitor to our great city. Colonel catcher Tommy Duenas delivered the game-winning blow, a double in yesterday and last night's Colonel win. A curve is a strike, and it's 2-1 to the batter. Tommy is posted by the Lanes here in Cedar Rapids. It's Tommy's second season with the Kernels. He's catching this afternoon, and we're going to share some good news. Strike 2 called from a special person in Tommy's life, Natalie. Natalie, why don't you introduce yourself? Oh, so one second. We got Sonia helped you out there. Just 1 second, Natalie. The 2-2 to the batter. Low for ball.
Hi, John. How you doing? My name is Natalie, and I'm here visiting from Miami, Florida.
And who are you visiting?
The catcher, Tommy Duenas.
You sure are. And we'll have you share the good news about how you keep track of Tommy here in a moment. A high fly ball into deep right. Blake Malcolm in front of the warning track makes the catch. David Harriman flies to right, 1 away. How in the world can you keep track of Tommy down in Miami, Natalie?
Well, John, every night I listen to your game and I listen to your broadcast on the internet at home, and it's great to actually see you in action today.
Well, thank you, Natalie. That means a lot to us and our organization to know that these broadcasts not only entertain folks in eastern Iowa, but all across the country on the internet, including Miami. One gone in the top of the fifth, the batter Brian Snyder. Natalie, you've done great. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and we'll only keep you for this top of the fifth inning because I know you want to watch the game, and I know you're enjoying the view up here from the press box.
Yes.
A ball low, and it's 1-1 to Brian Snyder. You have a very interesting, not only spelling, but pronunciation of your last name, Natalie, and I'm going to have you give that here. I don't need you to give you the cheat sheet that I need. Ball two outside. What is it, Natalie?
My last name is pronounced Inchowski.
And my goodness, I can't imagine if that's Portuguese, Spanish. You'll have to set us straight here in a moment. The 2-1 to Brian Snyder. A line drive into center is a one-out single. That is the second hit off Jesse Smith, and the fifth today for the Cougars, who lead it 4-0. Natalie, first of all, pronounce your last name and spell it for us.
It's pronounced Inchowski, INCHAUSTEGUI, and it's Basque from Spain.
Oh, well, I've heard of David Segui, S-E-G-U-I. His father, Diego Segui, pitched in the big leagues. I did not know. Now, Basque is B-A-S-K?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. My goodness. I want you to say your last name here again one more time, Natalie. I've never heard anything as unique except Tommy Duenas' mom's name. I will have you say that in a moment.
Sure.
The 1-0. A pitch in the dirt. Tommy smothers it, throws to second, and just getting ahead of the throw is Brian Snyder. It'll be ruled a wild pitch as Corey Wayment took ball two. A wild pitch in the dirt, trickled away from the Kernel receiver. He picked it up outside the dirt batting circle, then fired to second, but Brian Snyder beat the throw. And now a runner at second for Corey Wayment as the Cougars threaten to add to their 4-0 lead here in the top of the fifth inning. A slider is a strike called. Again, Natalie, say that last name.
Mine is Inchowski.
And what's Tommy's mom's last name?
Well, I'd like to say hi to her, actually. She's listening today. And her last name is Castro Giovanni.
Now, that's a mouthful, and I think that's a combination of Spanish and Italian. A pitch packed into right field for a single. Holding at third is the lead runner, Brian Snyder. Corey Wayment muscled one, tomahawked it on the ground between Howie Kendrick and Matt Abram, the right side of the Kernel infield, and having to stop the lead runner, Brian Snyder, at third was the skipper of these Kane County Cougars, Dave Joppy. First and third, one out. Kane County now sends Trevor Brown to the dish. Trevor walked twice against the Kernel departed starter, Nick Touchstone. Well, that's great that Tommy Duenas' mom also listens in every day and night on the zone. Now, you guys are an hour ahead of us, aren't you?
That's correct.
How do you keep track of the time of the next game? Is that on the internet for you to look up?
Yes, thankfully it is on Kernels.com.
Good. Well, we're sure glad to know that the folks down in Miami follow Tommy's progress very well. A letter-high fastball. Strike called from Jesse Smith, the right-hander, trying to work out of a one-out first and third jam here in the top of the fifth inning with the Cougars leading 4-0. Jesse is set at the belt. The right-handed batter Brown takes a curve low and away. Miami, in my opinion, Natalie, I've never been there, but I have cousins that live in Coral Gable, and I've met so many great kids throughout my 9 years with the Kernels that have grown up in Miami, including 18-year-old Sean Rodriguez. He's on our ball club this year. The 1-1 to the batter. Strike, two called. And I can't imagine how... Do you ever take for granted that it's always warm in Miami?
Today I do. It's extremely cold for me. I'm all bundled up, wearing a scarf, gloves, socks, layers. So I called my mom today at home, and she says it's about 80 degrees, sweating. So.
Well, I'll tell you, did you bring all this heavy cold weather gear with you, or did the Lanes have to supply you with it?
No, Cassie Lane actually supplied me with some gloves and jackets, so she's been great.
Oh, that's good. The 1-2 to the batter. Trevor Brown hits it off the end of the bat and knuckles it up onto the Miller Mezzanine Terrace, then down below. Well, Natalie, I know it's chilly for somebody that's lived in Miami. What is the rainy season down in Miami, or is there such a thing?
It kind of comes and goes. Sometimes you'll have rain, sometimes sunny. 1 minute can be rain, pouring, the next minute can be bright.
I thought that because the Marlins are constantly, Natalie, having rain delays, and then they play again after an hour or so.
Yes.
The rains come and go. You're only about 90 miles from Cuba, aren't you?
Correct.
And a lot of Cuban Americans are in Miami. In fact, there's a pitch fouled off to the right. There is even a section known as Little Havana.
Yes.
And is essentially that a Spanish-speaking area?
Well, Miami as a whole is, the majority of people in Miami speak Spanish.
I never knew that.
Yes.
Little Havana is thriving, isn't it, as a business district?
Yes, as is all of Miami.
Good. I know South Beach is the place all the Iowa Hawkeye football fans went for the Orange Bowl. Here's a tap to third, foul, and the count remains 1-2 to Trevor Brown. He's batting with one out. Runners at first and third in the top of the fifth inning, with the Kernels down 4-0. Natalie is here as a friend of Tommy Dueñas's. Did you know Tommy throughout your childhood, Natalie, or did you meet him when he went to college at Florida International?
No, we met in college at Florida International.
Brown, an open stance, bats from a deep crouch, and lines one over the head of Brandon Wood into left to make it 5-0 in favor of Kane County. Stopping at second is Corey Wayman. Boy, what a well-earned RBI single for Trevor Brown. We haven't gotten him out yet in 3 at-bats. He makes it 5-0. He served it over the head of the leaping shortstop, Brandon Wood, scoring Brian Snyder. And it is 5-0 Kane County. The run surrendered by Jesse Smith, the first he's allowed out of the Kernel bullpen in relief of the starter, Nick Touchstone. Now the Kernels desperately need a double play to keep it somewhat close, 5-0 Cougars. Ball one just inside to Chris Treidel. He's struck out twice today. He's from Center Point, Urbana, just up the road, 18 miles on I-380. Jesse Smith has his sign. 1-0. A high pop foul off the end of the bat into the Papa John's Plaza. Matt Moss, Kernel broadcast assistant, will be along in just a little bit to help us with the State Farm Major League scoreboard. In fact, Matt has given us an update, and we'll have it for you in the bottom of the fifth inning. Natalie is kindly, as most people are, very humble. Not shy, but just humble. But she's been kind enough to grace us with a few words about her visit here to see her friend Tommy Dueñas, the Kernel catcher. A curve is a strike call to Treidel, and it's 1-2 to the right-handed batter. I'll give the finals on the State Farm Major League scoreboard, then Matt Moss will give you the partial scores in the Kernel fifth inning. The 1-2 to Treidel. A deep drive into right, may get over the head of Blake Balcom. It's at the wall, and it's over his head for extra bases. 2 men are running over each other. Well, now a man being waved home. The throw home by Wood, high, not in time. Boy, the Cougars almost ran at each other's backs, but scoring from second on a double over Blake Balcom's head by Chris Treidel. And that you can hear the cheering from all the folks from Center Point, Urbana. Chris Treidel roped one over the head of Blake Balcom to make it 6-0. Kane County. Trevor Brown scooted from first to third. Brown almost ran up the back of the runner at second, Corey Wayman. Wayman scored on the double, and that's 4 hits in a row off Jesse Smith. And Kane County pulling away now, leading 6-0. Tommy Dueñas will join pitching coach Eric Bennett on the mound to try to help out Jesse Smith. The Kernels have a right-hander, Alan Buckley. He has not started to throw. He is stretching in the Kernel right field bullpen. Natalie, South Beach, everybody raved about it from eastern Iowa. We had half the state go down to your city just, I guess it was 2 years ago for the Orange Bowl. Why does everybody flock to South Beach?
Well, John, actually, not only because of the weather, but because of the land itself. If you go down to South Beach, you have just strips and strips of sandy beaches with palm trees and just people laying out in their bathing suits, having a good time, hearing music.
It's a fun area.
Fun area, yes.
Are there restaurants and nightclubs?
Yes, down the strip by the beach there is.
Our Eastern Iowans are very frugal. They've told me that it's not cheap.
No, we need to make some money off the tourists.
I understand that, Natalie. We all have areas that we need to charge a premium for the visitors to enjoy. But South Beach, from what I've heard, is just a tremendous fun place to be, as you said, Natalie, with the beach right there and the shops and the boutiques and the restaurants and the nightlife. The batter is Luis Perez. He socks one into center to make it 7-0. This thing's getting away from us a little bit. 5 straight hits. Perez, who had a grand slam in the second, rips one into center, and Trevor Brown scores to make it 6-0. Chris Treidel went to second. Treidel did not double over the head of Blake Balcom because of that bizarre base running. Treidel had to stop at first with an RBI single. Perez has his 5th RBI of the day, and Jesse Smith has allowed 3 runs now. It's 7-0 Cougars on 5 straight hits. Tipping one foul to the on-deck circle is Brian Ingram. Well, Natalie, sometimes we're ahead 7-0. Sometimes the opposition's ahead 7-0, and that's when we're glad folks like you come along because we can liven things up. That smile of yours, I'm sure, brings Tommy a lot of joy, Natalie. I'm so happy you were able to come up here this time of year, even though we haven't given you the Miami weather.
It's okay.
Have you and Tommy gone out to eat a few times, or do the lanes feed you?
No, we've gone out to eat a couple times.
Hope you've made it to Biaggi's or some of the nice places we have to offer here. Maybe Zio Giano's. The 1-1 to Brian Ingram. A pitch in the dirt, blocked by Tommy Duenas to prevent a wild pitch. You know who's here, Natalie? I don't know if you've met him. Our Anaheim Angel roving catching instructor, Bobby Ramos, is here, and Bobby helped teach Tommy how to catch.
Yes.
Have you met Bobby?
Yes, I have.
Super guy. He was run out of Cuba by Castro and his thugs back in the late 50s, but has made a home in the United States. In Miami. Uh-oh, a deep drive way out onto Rockford Road. Is it fair or foul? Foul ball! Foul ball, and I'm not exaggerating. That ball was hit onto Rockford Road. That may have been the longest foul ball I've seen hit by a left-handed batter. Brian Ingram hit one that landed on the street down the slope from this ballpark. He must have hit it 420 feet, but a foul ball. I don't know how the plate umpire, Scott Jarrett, made the call. I couldn't tell whether it was fair or foul. Now the 2-2 in the dirt, ball 3, and Jesse Smith's going to need some help here, I believe, in this 5th inning. He just seems to have run out of gas with Alan Buckley. No, not Alan Buckley, Scott Heineman. Scott Heineman, the lefty, warming up in the Colonel bullpen. Kane County on top 7-0. The runners go. A pitch grounded to first. Matt Abram has it, and as the runners move up to second and third, Brian Ingram is retired unassisted. He's 0 for 4 now, as Matt Abram had to make the play unassisted at first base. Now Luke Appert, the 8th man to bat here in the Cougar 3-run 5th inning with runner, and we're going to have a pitching change. We're still going to hold off and give you the State Farm Major League scoreboard in the bottom of this 5th inning. Jesse Smith gets a well-earned round of applause as he did his best in relief of Nick Touchstone. Scott Heineman, a lefty, Hindman, will come out and try to put out this raging fire blazing in the Kane County 5th inning. Heineman, a lefty, is on. Well, Natalie, I am going to put you on the spot just a little bit, but in a fun way. We love to know that you and Tommy Duenas' mom listen to the ball games, but we also always like to hear, what could we do better broadcast? Is there anything that comes to mind that you'd like to hear more of when you're listening as a fan and an interested party down in Miami about our broadcast? Just anything come to mind.
Well, come to find there's really nothing. It's absolutely great.
Is the quality of the sound good over the Internet?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do we give the score often enough?
Yes.
Okay. We try to be fair, yet when a guy makes a mistake, we don't jump on him, but we point out that he made a mistake. We hope we don't sound like too much either, like a homer, like the Kernels can never do anything wrong. So just anything's fair game here. You do enjoy the broadcast.
Yes. You're very enthusiastic, so that's great.
Well, thank you. And we try to be just enthusiastic enough without sounding like that we're going to jump out the window every time there's a controversial call. And we're sure glad to know that you do listen down in Miami. Natalie, are you done at Florida International? Are you still a student?
I'm in my second year of law school.
I know I met you briefly last year in the hallway at one of Lanny Peterson's host family dinners. You are in law school. Now, the old saying is they scare you the first year, they work you to death the second year, and they bore you the third year. Something like that. What's the saying?
That's exactly correct.
Okay, so you've been scared, you've survived, now you're working hard.
Yes.
What are you studying? Are you going to be the kind of lawyer that serves as an agent for a ball player, or what are you going to do with your degree?
I'm pretty much interested in entertainment and sports law. However, it's pretty much, the market's really difficult in Miami.
Same all over for lawyers.
Yes, so I got my undergraduate in finance, so I'm open to seeing the view of business law, corporations.
Good. Well, you'll have... Oh, the sun is shining now. Not on the scoreboard. It's 7-0 Cougars, but the sun has come out a little bit. Let's see if Scott Hyman can get this left. A pitch that got by Tommy to the backstop. Let's listen and hear if it's a wild pitch or a pass ball. Scoring from third was Chris Treidel to make it 8-0. That run is charged to Jesse Smith. And not only scoring was Treidel, and for now, we're going to call it a wild pitch, but whether it's a pass ball or wild pitch is really incidental right now. Another run is scored, and Scott's pitch is a strike call to Luke Appert. The Cougars have scored 4 runs here in the 5th to break this thing open. They lead it 8-0. The Kernels won last night in adverse, miserable, rainy conditions, 2-1. Strike 2 called on the outside corner from the Kernel lefty, Scott Hyman. Jesse Smith pitched 1, and, well, he pitched 2 innings. A curve in the dirt. Duenas just saved a run by blocking it. Does Tommy ever tell you, Natalie, I'm all black and blue because that doggone pitcher kept throwing it in the dirt?
No, he doesn't complain much. He holds it pretty well.
Most catchers don't. Appert, even on the count 2-2. It's been a long, tough top of the 5th inning. Ball 3 from Scott Hyman is low to Luke Appert. Jesse Smith went 2 innings. So far, it's given up 4 runs on 6 hits. The Kernel right-hander Jesse Smith struck out 1, and he walked none. Here's a high pop-up into foul ground. Abram is there, and it ends the inning. Luke Appert fouls to Matt Abram, and Scott Hyman gets that final tough out of the 5th inning. 4 runs for Kane County on 5 hits, no Kernel errors. The Cougars leave 1 and have stranded 6. We're going to go to the bottom half of the 5th and have the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Natalie, you're going to be great as an attorney, whatever field you go into. Thank you for really making this broadcast more enjoyable because it's been a little bit of a skunker so far on the scoreboard.
Yes, thank you, Don.
Natalie, thank you. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 8-0 in favor of the Cougars. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Congratulations on buying your new $24,000 car. Oh, wait, you signed the contract, didn't you? Congratulations on owning your new $16,000 car. Sir? Sir? He's fainted. It seems criminal, doesn't it? The value of a new car drops by 1/3 the minute you sign for it. You haven't even put a slushie in the cup holder yet, and thousands of dollars have just floated away. But you're smart. You've learned the value of buying a young used car. But where do you go? Who do you trust? Well, come see us. We're Select Auto Group, a great way to buy a pre-owned car. For one thing, we don't have salespeople. You deal directly with the owners who make the decisions. This gives you the best price right away. And at Select Auto Group, we pride ourselves on honesty and integrity. No pressure, no hijinks. Plus, we offer extended warranties up to 100,000 miles and a full service department to back them up. You'll find us at 1st Avenue and 8th in Cedar Rapids and 7th Avenue and 6th in Marion. Select Auto Group, a great way to buy a pre-owned car.
Classic weekends, termites, feasting, fishing, tackle, paints and spackle, tubs, jacuzzis, tapes and movies, everything from A to Z. Tile and lumber, tons of plumbers, elevators, coffee makers, radiators, party favors. Take a look and you'll see. Let your fingers do walking through Yellow Book. The other book.
When it comes to making their buying decisions, people today let their fingers do the walking through Yellow Book Yellow Pages. It's no wonder. Yellow Book's packed with money-saving coupons, restaurant menus, and vital community info. And with more ads than ever before, it has everything you need right at your fingertips. It's easy to spot. Just reach for the Yellow Directory with the map on the cover. And join the smart shoppers who choose Yellow Book, not the other book. Put your business in Yellow Book. Call 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
Let your fingers do walking through Yellow Book. The other book.
One into center, but right at Chris Tridle. He's back, and he reaches up and makes a good catch. Chris Tridle had to drift back quickly. That ball was scorched over his head by Sean Rodriguez to open up the Colonel fifth. Sean has the only Colonel hit of this game, and he lines out to dead center. One gone in the fifth inning, 8-0 Cougars. Great to hear from Natalie. We'll have our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question for you in the top of the sixth inning. Right now, though, State Farm Insurance agents Al Shetler, Lanny Peterson, Gary Schubat, and Dale Thompson bring us our second look this afternoon at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. We haven't checked it since the beginning of the broadcast. A curve is high to Aaron Peel, ball one. Aaron reached on an error by the shortstop, Brian Ingram, his first trip up. He bounces one foul past third. We have three finals on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Let's start in the American League, where the Red Sox completed a weekend sweep of the Yankees. Boy, George Steinbrenner probably has smoke coming out of his ears as the Red Sox shut out the Yankees 2-0 today at Yankee Stadium. A final at Comerica Park. First, Aaron Peel lifts one foul off to the right. He's in the hole 1-2. At Comerica Park, the Tigers bowed to the Indians 3-2 Cleveland. A final in the National League from earlier today at Olympic Stadium. The Expos shut out the Phillies 2-0. We're going to give you partial scores as we go along here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 8-0 Cougars. A ground ball to third, charged by Brian Snyder. He boots it. That'll be the second error committed by the Cougars today. A tough play for Snyder as Peel topped it, and Snyder came running in from third but couldn't glove it cleanly. An error, the second of the day by the Cougars, has Aaron Peel aboard. To pick up where we left off on the State Farm Major League scoreboard with partial scores, here's Colonel Broadcast Assistant Matt Moss.
At Baltimore, we have the Blue Jays playing the Orioles, and they're up big 15-3 at the top of the ninth inning. At Texas, the ballpark in Arlington, the Mariners are up 6-1 on the Rangers at the bottom of the sixth inning.
A curve is a strike to Matt Abram.
At Kansas City, the Twins are up 4-1 on the Royals at the top of the ninth inning. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays are up 2-1 at Comiskey Park playing against the White Sox. That game is in the bottom of the sixth inning.
An 0-1 pitch to Matt is outside for ball one from right-hander Chris Dunwell.
And rounding out our day games in the American League, the Anaheim Angels are up 1-0 over the Oakland Athletics. That game in the bottom of the first inning.
And that's out in the Coliseum. The 1-1 to Abram with Peel at first, one out in the bottom of the fifth. Swing and a miss by Matt. He struck out to end the Colonel's second inning. Runner at first, one out, 8-0 Cougars here this afternoon in the bottom of the fifth inning. Well, Matt Moss will take a look here in a second at partial scores this afternoon in the National League on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. A throw to first, and Peel dives back safely.
Well, a lot of action today in the National League as far as day games go. 0-0 is the score between the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. That game being played at Pittsburgh. That game is in the top of the first inning.
Swing and a miss by Abram. He fans for the second out of the inning. Matt, I have a feeling that game you just reported on in Pittsburgh was delayed by rain because you said it's scoreless early.
Yes.
Okay. How about my Cardinals in Milwaukee?
Well, they're doing better today. They're up 3-1 on the Brewers. That game at Miller Park, and that game is in the top of the ninth inning. The Cubs are up 3-1 over the New York Mets. That game in the bottom of the seventh.
Your Cubs are going for their seventh in a row, aren't they?
I know. That's good.
The batter is Tommy Duenas. He takes a strike, a curveball. Matt Moss, our broadcast assistant, filling us in on scores in the big leagues on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Tommy, a right-handed hitter, doubled over the head of left fielder Luis Perez last night. The runner goes, and Tommy swats one in the air foul off to the right. That RBI double by Tommy was the game-winning hit.
At Coors Field, the Houston Astros are down to the Colorado Rockies by a score of 2-1. That game at the bottom of the sixth inning. And on the West Coast, San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers are scoreless at the bottom of the first.
Tommy Duenas on a hit and run, fouled it off to the right. Aaron Peel will likely not be running on this 0-2 pitch. He's not. A curve in the dirt blocked by David Harriman.
The San Diego Padres and Arizona Diamondbacks are getting ready to get underway. And tonight on the Zone, you can listen to the Atlanta Braves and the Florida Marlins.
Well, that's great, Matt Moss. You sounded very confident, conversational, and wow, what a quantum leap in improvement from yesterday when you did a wonderful job. The 1-2 is cracked foul past third, and Aaron Peel will hold it first. Matt will also be helping us field calls in the top of the sixth inning. We have our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question to look forward to. Matt, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you again a little bit later for more scores.
All right, we'll see you later, John.
Matt Moss, Colonel Broadcast Assistant with us. Tommy Duenas in a 1-2 hole. Right-handed hitting catcher. Checks his swing on a curve, and it's a wild pitch. Down to second goes Aaron Peel. Aaron Peel advances on a pitch in the dirt. He's in scoring position as the Kernels try to get back into this one gradually. Down 8-0 in the bottom of the fifth inning. This is the sixth meeting between the Kernels and Cougars in the first 2.5 weeks of the season. We split with Kane County at Philip Elstrom Stadium last weekend. We won here last night in the constant drizzle 2-1. Swing and a miss by Tommy, a slider, and that ends the Kernel fifth inning, and that is 8 strikeouts in 5 innings for Chris Dunwell. The Kernel strikeout totals continue to alarm. No runs in the fifth inning, no hits, 1 Cougar error, their second of the day. Kernels leave a man, we stranded 3. Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question comes your way in the top of the sixth inning as we head there. Kane County 8, the Kernels nothing. You're tuned to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Kernels fans, your Cedar Rapids Taco Bell restaurants have something new for you to cheer about this season. A Taco Bell 10 spot. When the Kernels score 10 or more runs at any game this season, you'll score beef tacos for just 39 cents the very next day at any Cedar Rapids Taco Bell. That's a savings of 50 cents per taco. Limit 10 per customer. Remember, when the Kernels put up a Taco Bell 10 spot by plating 10 or more runs in any game, you get up to 10 39-cent beef tacos the very next day at any Cedar Rapids Taco Bell.
Hi, this is Dave Town with Five Seasons Transportation Parking. Do you ever wonder if it's safe to send your child on the bus? It is, and here's a few reasons why. All the buses in Cedar Rapids are equipped with security cameras, so the drivers always know what's happening behind them. The buses also have global positioning systems, or GPS, which means they can be tracked at any time by satellite. Does that surprise you? It shouldn't. Five Seasons Transportation takes safety very seriously, and we've taken many steps to make sure your child will have a safe, easy ride every time they take the bus. Even when your child isn't on the bus, Five Seasons Transportation is helping keep them safe by using pollution-free biodiesel and alcohol fuels, Iowa products that help keep the air clean. And if your child is ever in trouble, they can always flag down a bus for help. I'm Dave Town, and I like to think of the bus as a traveling safety cocoon, motoring along Cedar Rapids streets. And keep in mind, if the bus is that safe and easy for your child, maybe you should think about riding the bus to work. Affordable, convenient, and safe. That's the bus. Ride it.
Scott Hindman came in to record the final out of a Cougar 4-run fifth inning. King County has buried us here in the first 5 innings. 8 runs on 9 hits. They've made 2 errors. Neither has cost them a run. The Kernels, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. And Chris Dunwell has struck out 8. Well, let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's fanned 7 men in 5 innings. Here we go to the top of the 6th inning. David Castillo, David Harriman, and Brian Snyder, the heart of the order, to face Colonel Southpaw. Scott Hindman. Ball 1 is low and inside to the right-handed batter Castillo. David, nothing for 3 today. Has flown to center, popped to short, and skied to left. Scott Hindman from Princeton lets loose with the pitch high and away. Scott last pitched Wednesday in a Colonel win against Clinton at Alliant Energy Field. He went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, 1 earned on 1 hit, struck out 2, walked 4. Ball 3 misses high and inside to David Castillo. We have had 8 different folks, you Colonel fans, win a $5 gift certificate to the Springhouse Family Restaurant by answering our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question correctly. If you've been one of those 8, please don't call in this afternoon. Certainly play along wherever you're tuned in across eastern Iowa. Sunday home-cooked meals at the Springhouse. A 3-1 pitch rattled foul into the screen, and the count full now to David Castillo. Sunday home-cooked meals at the Springhouse. Turkey, roast beef, pork loin, $7.25. All meals are served with sage dressing, vegetable, your choice of mashed or sweet potatoes. A deep drive into left is beyond the reach of the hustling left fielder Aaron Peel, off the wall for extra bases. Rounding second is David Castillo, and he holds on. What an effort by Aaron Peel as he made a backhanded effort trying to pick that one off the blades of the grass, but it just eluded him. That's the 10th hit of the day for the Cougars and a leadoff double for David Castillo. Well, the Kernels are having to take their medicine here this afternoon. We've been out hit 10-1 and trail 8-0. And that $7.25 price for the Sunday home-cooked meals at the Springhouse includes dessert, fresh baked bread, and the 3 features today: turkey, roast beef, or pork loin. Sunday home-cooked meals at the Springhouse, just $7.25. We'll have our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question for you here as we go along in the top of the 6th. A 1-0 pitch is a strike call to David Harriman. What are you trying to earn? A $5 gift certificate to the Springhouse. And this question we're trying to tie in with all the hoopla like we did yesterday or last night with the NFL draft. The 1-1. Strike 2 call to the cleanup man at the knees. Here's our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question. In 196 Major League at-bats with the Pirates in 1953 and 1954, Vic Janowitz hit only .214. Ball 2 to the batter. What was Vic Janowitz's main claim to fame before his cup of coffee in the big leagues? I'll repeat the question and give the phone number in just a second. The subject, Vic Janowitz. A slider low and in from Scott Hindman, ball 3. In 196 big league at-bats with the Pirates in 1953 and 1954, Vic Janowitz hit only .214. What was Vic Janowitz's main claim to fame before his cup of coffee in the big leagues? That's our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question. Call now with your answer at 896-7589, 896-7589, 896-7589, the number to call. A payoff pitch is fouled into the screen by David Harriman. The number to call for your chance to earn a $5 gift certificate to the Springhouse, 896-7589. The next payoff pitch, this one is fouled up into the air off to the right. And the count remains full to David Harriman. We have a winner already in our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question. Another payoff pitch. Drilled into left center for extra base hits to make it 9-0. David Castillo churns home as Quan Cosby cuts it off in deep left center. And David Harriman has made it a 9-0 ball game in favor of King County. Castillo doubled to start this inning, and David Harriman replicates the extra base hit. He drilled one into the left center field gap to score Castillo and make it 9-0 Cougars. They've out-hit us now 11-1. Brian Snyder has walked twice, singled, and scored twice. All Kane County so far here today. And ball one is high and outside to the batter, Brian Snyder. We're going to have good news on the Springhouse trivia question front here in a moment. 2-0 now to the batter. We have a winner. Our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question, I'll repeat it, and with some help from broadcast assistant Matt Moss, we'll get all the facts straight. A strike call to the right-handed batter. In 196 Major League at-bats with the Pirates in 1953 and 1954, Vic Janowitz hit only .214. Our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question asks, what was Vic Janowitz's main claim to fame before his cup of coffee in the big leagues? And we had an immediate winner as Brian Snyder takes a pitch for a strike. It's 3-1. Fastball at the letters. Strike two. Snyder threw his bat towards the on-deck circle. He thought he'd walk. Colonel broadcast assistant Matt Moss, who called in with the correct answer?
Well, our winner today was Eric Olson of Marion.
And what was the right answer? It was not an easy question.
No, the answer is that Vic Janowitz won the 1950 Heisman Trophy while playing college football at Ohio State.
Ball four just missed inside. I thought that pitch would be called a strike after Snyder showed up the plate umpire, but ball four. Yes, indeed. And our winner's name again, Matt?
Eric Olson of Marion.
How old did he sound since Vic Janowitz won it in 1950, the Heisman Trophy, as a Buckeye?
Well, I don't know, John. I'd guess he was somewhere between you and me for age there.
So he wasn't as old as Vic. Vic Janowitz just passed away a couple of years ago. A swing and a miss by Corey Wayman. And interestingly enough, and I'm sure our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question winner Eric Olson knew this, Vic Janowitz, after kind of struggling as a baseball player with Pittsburgh in the big leagues, played with the Washington Redskins in 1955 as a running back. He was second in the NFL in rushing, and he then was injured in a car accident in 1956 and never played professional football or baseball again. Scott Heineman fires high and away, and it's ball two to the batter, Corey Wayman. Vic Janowitz helped Ohio State win the 1950 Rose Bowl and won the 1950 Heisman Trophy as a running back for the Buckeyes. I'm still amazed as our fans continue to answer these Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia questions correctly that I never knew Vic Janowitz because I wasn't born until 7 years after he won the Heisman Trophy at Ohio State. And I never knew he played with the Pirates. There's a strike from Scott Heineman. Man, Scott is running, I don't know, he's made what seems like dozens of pitches here in the sixth inning. Another full count to another Cougar hitter, Corey Wayman. First and second, nobody out, the 3-2. Ball four inside, and the Colonel miseries continue. David Harriman goes to third, Brian Snyder to second, Corey Wayman walks. Bases loaded, nobody out, nothing doing. Well, there is something going on in the Colonel bullpen now. Right-hander up, Alan Buckley, I believe. Bases loaded, nobody out for the Cougars, who lead it already 9-0. Matt Moss, you follow college football as more than anyone I know. Had you ever heard of Vic Janowitz?
No, I had not heard of that one.
Archie Griffin won the Heisman Trophy at Ohio State as a running back in back-to-back seasons in the mid-'70s, but he did not go on to play pro baseball like Vic Janowitz did. Janowitz's last name, Janowicz, and he was the subject of our Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question. Boy, Matt, you look at these guys, and our Kernel of Wisdom will highlight a number of guys who did what Vic Janowitz did, and that is play very well football in college and then play professional Major League Baseball. It is not easy to do. Football, you have to learn how to hit people. Baseball's a little tougher. You have to learn how to hit a baseball. With the bases loaded, here's Trevor Brown. Ball one just missed low from lefty Scott Heineman. The crowd's quiet, not because they're angry, but the Kernels just haven't given them much at all to cheer about here today. It's been all Cougars. A strike at the knees to the right-handed batter. Matt, I'm going to have you do some accounting work here to see if any of these scores that were brought in freshen up that State Farm Major League scoreboard, if there's any freshening up to be done. Swing and a miss by Brown, strike two. Well, of all things, we have a final in the NBA. The Pacers eliminated the Celtics, winning 90-75 at the Fleet Center. I hate to say this, but I could care less about the NBA playoffs, but I know we have listeners who love NBA basketball. Look out, a shot foul up into the right or first base stands, and it's 1-2 to Trevor Brown. This has been an agonizing, anguishing trip to the woodshed the Kernels have suffered here today. But that's the name of baseball. You're going to have some games where you lay a licking on the opposition, and a few games where they bury you. A check swing by the batter. He didn't go around, and it's 2-2 to Trevor Brown. Brown has walked and scored, singled in a run and scored. Speaking of scoring, it's 9-0 Kane County in the top of the sixth inning. Heineman is set. Drilled up the middle, through the box, and into center field, makes it 10-0. An RBI single by Trevor Brown scores David Harriman, and a good piece of sportsmanship by the skipper, Dave Joppy. Joppy held the runner, Brian Snyder, at third. He could have scored on the play, but there's an unwritten rule in baseball that you don't try to embarrass the opposition and lay it on too thick. The Cougars appear to have this one well in hand, so Dave Joppy did stop Snyder at third. And no, there is no Taco Bell 10 spot. We have to be the team to score 10 runs, not the opposition. So hang on. We'll try to rally in this one to make it a Taco Bell 10 spot, but we're on the short end of a 10-0 score. A high drive into center off the end of the bat. Quan Cosby comes in and has it. The runner tags but holds at third. And that is the first out of the inning. Chris Tritle stroked one off the end of the bat into shallow right center. I don't think Snyder could have scored in a much closer game. He probably would have tried to score, but he did not. He did not tag, and now Bobby Magallanes is having to come out and pull the plug on lefty Scott Heineman. Scott Heineman goes 2/3 of an inning, and in 2/3 of an inning, he has surrendered 2 runs on 3 hits. The lefty struck out none, and he walked a pair. All Kane County today, 10-0 Cougars. 2 games remaining on this 4-game homestand. They're both with the Minnesota Twin, Class A Midwest League affiliate, the swing of the Quad Cities. Quad Cities will be here tomorrow and Tuesday for 6:30 starts. Dugout interview time 6:10. And we encourage you to come on out with the weather warming up a bit the next 2 nights. The Kernels will do no worse than be in a tie for first place atop the Western Division first half standings. So come on out and enjoy Kernel baseball under warm conditions, hopefully, the next couple of nights, tomorrow night and Tuesday night. Our ticket office phone number is 896-7560, 896-7560. A U.S. Cellular call to the Kernel bullpen has Alan Buckley, a 6'6", 240-pound right-hander, from Jacksonville State, Alabama. He also pitched at Mississippi State. Allen last pitched on Friday in our tough loss to Clinton. Allen pitched very well. 1 inning against the Lumber Kings in a 4-3 Kernel loss. No runs, 1 hit. Struck out 2, walked 1. Alan Buckley is on in relief for the Kernels here in this top of the 6th inning, 10-0 Cougars. Well, Matt Moss, a few more finals have been posted on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Please share them with us.
Well, John, let's see here. Cardinals ended up posting a victory over the Brewers. The final in that score was 5-2. And the Blue Jays ended up downing the Orioles 15-3. Well, and that's all we have for finals right now.
That's great. You can see that even big league teams take it on the chin. Here's a high fly ball drifting into right field near the line. Blake Balcom has it. A runner tags, but Blake with a strong throw to the cutoff man. Matt Abram holds the runner, Brian Snyder at third, and 1 pitch by Alan Buckley, 1 man out, the second out of the inning here in the Kane County 6th as Luis Perez has 5 of the 10 runs driven in for the Cougars, including a grand slam back in the 2nd inning off Colonel starter Nick Touchstone. Now the 8th man to bat for the Cougars is Brian Ingram. Ingram is nothing for 4 today. Alan Buckley heaves in a strike call to the left-handed batter. Alan Buckley on the season, no record. He's pitching out of the Colonel bullpen for the 7th time, an ERA of 5.40. A ground ball past the mound. Brandon Wood has it and steps on second to force the runner, Trevor Brown, and end the Cougars' 6th inning. Brian Ingram rattled one up the middle, and Brandon Wood made the play at second to force the runner and end the Cougars' 6th inning. For Kane County in the 6th, 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no Colonel errors, and the Cougars left the bases full. They've now stranded 9. We go to the home half of the 6th inning, and it's been all Kane County. They're clobbering the Colonels 10-0. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick.
So there's like a dive bar across the street. So we go in there, and what song comes on the jukebox? And mind you, we're a little bit drunk. Right ahead, Liam. This song comes on the jukebox. Really? Let me tell you, the 4 of us stood up in the middle of a packed bar. Really? And I ask everyone to join with me, including you guys. Can I play your white noise? Please do it. Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. They threw us out. No, they didn't. We were disturbing people. In a dive bar. I was thrown out of a dive bar.
Mike and Mike in the morning on ESPN Radio.
You might be looking at the Cy Young Award winner facing the MVP. Smoltz is ready. The 1-0 pitch, one more and a drill. High, deep, and
Major League Baseball's opening day, April 4th on ESPN Radio. When it comes to life insurance, think ahead. Think about planning for your family's future with Farm Bureau Financial Services. Joyce Safi in Cedar Rapids can help you determine what coverage is right for you and your family. When so much in life is beyond your control, aren't you glad life insurance isn't? For your family's future, think about life insurance from Joyce Safi in Cedar Rapids. Farm Bureau Financial Services, more than you think. Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, West Des Moines, Iowa.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and Chris Dunwell has pitched a 1-hit shutout, and he's been provided loads of offense to the tune of 10 runs on 12 hits. Howie Kendrick, the top of the order, leading off for the Kernels here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kernels hope to get something done against this right-hander in the way of offense. Kendrick swings at the first pitch and flips it foul into the mid of David Harriman for strike 1. This is where you really have to turn it up a notch in terms of your concentration and pride when you're being smoked 10-0. Howie Kendrick dumps a foul ball just beyond the Colonel right field bullpen, and how in the world a fan down there with a glove, no, not glove, he's wearing gloves. He's checking his gloves and pleading for one of the Colonels to give him that ball that he missed. That fella's in a red parka, and he does get the souvenir, a lifetime honorary Colonel contract, and a free spaghetti dinner at Zio Giano's when he shows it at the Blimpie Guest Services booth. A pitch on the hands of Howie Kendrick, and he bounces a one-hopper to the second baseman, Luke Appert, on to first, and Howie nothing for 3 this afternoon. Grounds out to second. Quan Cosby is grounded to the first baseman twice, once unassisted by Trevor Brown, the next time 3-1. Quan in the midst of a bit of a tailspin, hitting .208, and it would be nice to see him get it going, and Quan just hasn't hit the ball hard recently. He's put it in play, which is a step in the right direction in terms of utilizing his great speed, but he has not hit the ball real hard recently. Ball one is high to the Kernels switch hitter, Quan Cosby. Now a strike from Chris Dunwell. The best Kernel scoring chance in this game came in the second, where we were trailing 4-0, had runners at first and second with 2 out, but Dunwell struck out Matt Abram to end that threat. Ball 2 inside to Quan, 2-1. Mike Kuhlbeck, our Director of Public Relations and Marketing, will be giving... Here's a ground ball hit hard up the middle for a base hit. Quan Cosby is the first Kernel to reach, or the first Kernel to collect a hit since Sean Rodriguez singled back in the second inning. Well, I guess we said the right thing at the right time. We said Quan hadn't been hitting the ball extremely hard. He sure hit that pitch hard to the middle into center for a one-out single. We're hoping that Mike Kuhlbeck can provide us with good news on the attendance front. We know that a lot of great kids and parents from Cleveland Elementary School are here today. Brandon Wood is nothing for 2, right-handed batter. Slider high from Dunwell. South Bend leads the Eastern Division of the Midwest League. They have a record of 13-3 and a 4-game bulge already. A ground ball to third could be 2. Snyder to second, out, and that's all that the Cougars get. And there's the concentration I talked about. Quan Cosby slid hard into second base, and no chance for Luke Appert to try to turn a double play. Quan is forced 5-4 as Brandon Wood reaches on a fielder's choice. Yeah, Quan went into the second base bag like the score was 0-0 instead of 10-0 Cougars, and you like to see that kind of hustle and concentration when this game is so far out of reach, at least on the scoreboard. It's not in the minds of the Kernels. A slider is low to Blake Balcom, 1-0. Deb Williams is our in-studio engineer. She's done a great job today, as she always does, with all of the messages that we bring you between innings. Deb will be on the board, as they say. She'll be engineering tonight for that ESPN Sunday night baseball game in Miami between the Braves and Marlins. Blake Balcom's ahead 2-0. He's lined to right and flown to right. And he hits the deep drive to left. Way back. I think it's going to go. Adios! Over the 378 sign and a 2-run homer for Blake Balcom. Blake cuts one off, his second of the year, and the Kernels are on the board, trailing now 10-2. Blake Balcom on a 2-0 pitch launched it out of here over the 378 mark, over the 7-up green and white and red billboard, the Tri-Vision in deep left center. And that gives all the contingent from Cleveland Elementary School a reason to cheer. Blake Balcom with his second home run of the year. The Kernels lead Midwest League in home runs. That's our 16th home run in this, our 16th ball game. Swing and a miss by Caleb Mayer, strike 1. Boy, Blake Balcom hit that a mile. Now Caleb lofts one foul onto the Miller mezzanine, strike 2. A 2-run blast by Balcom in the 6th inning makes it 10-2 Cougars. Ball one outside to Caleb Mayer. Well, there's no doubt about it. The long ball still brings everybody to their feet at any level of baseball. Strike 3 called. Caleb Mayer is called out on strikes. That's the 8th strikeout in 6 innings for Chris Dunwell. But the Kernels spoil any thoughts that the Cougar right-hander may have had of a shutout The Kernels scored 2 runs in the 6th inning on 2 base hits. There were no Cougar errors. The Kernels leave the bases empty. We go to the top of the 7th inning, and the Kernels trail Kane County now 10-2. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
When we met in Spaghetti, we would never forget the Ojanos. Now it's where mi amore and I dine in. We carry out the lunch and the dinner all the time for lasagna, ravioli, mandacati, cannelloni, tortellini. Or try their delicious salads and sub sandwiches too. The Ojanos is the hometown taste of Italy. For your next meal with friends and a family, remember the Ojanos with 5 convenient locations for the pasta that makes you sing.
Winning requires determination, energy, power. At Alliant Energy, we know the power of teamwork. Our team gives its all every day to deliver reliable power to you. We're committed to meet the growing needs of our customers. Delivering safe and environmentally friendly energy keeps us focused. Our dedication to serve our customers keeps us on our game. And that's a winning combination.
Dun, 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 dun,
Da, 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 da. Hey, call the A-Team. Hey, Matt, thanks for having us over for the game. You know, we could have had it at my house. My TV is bigger, and my AC works.
I thought you were supposed to get that fixed while your wife was out of town this week.
Oh, man, I totally forgot, and she's coming home tomorrow.
She's going to kill you.
What am I going to do?
You need to call the A-Team.
The A-Team?
Yeah, Ahern Plumbing and Heating. They can get your service in 24 hours, guaranteed.
I better call Ahern Plumbing and Heating right away.
Goes to the top of the 7th. 10-2 Kane County. 4 in the 2nd on a grand slam by their number 9 hitter. 4 in the 5th on 5 straight hits. 2 in the 6th. The Kernels put their 2 on the board on a Blake Balcom home run, his 2nd of the year in the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the 7th, ball 1 from Alan Buckley, and now a line drive off the bat of Luke Appert out to right fielder Blake Balcom, who makes the catch. 1 out in the top of the 7th. For the Cougars, Luke Appert has one of the Kane County 12 hits today. Halo happenings. Results from around the Anaheim Angel organization from last night. The parent club, as we told you on the State Farm Major League scoreboard last night, whipped Oakland 6-3 at the Coliseum. Former Colonel right-hander Scott Shields pitched 2 scoreless innings in relief of starter Kelvin Escobar. Salt Lake lost 5-0 to Portland, and the Stingers have dropped 4 in a row. Arkansas was postponed down in Little Rock. They'll play a doubleheader today, or they are playing a doubleheader against Tulsa. And then good news from Rancho Cucamonga, although the Quakes lost to High Desert 5-3, a number of Colonel players shone brightly. 2 did at least. Mike Napoli belted his 5th home run of the year, had 2 RBIs, and Greg Porter was 3 for 4 in a losing cause for Rancho Cucamonga. Sean Toledo, a starter for us last year, took the loss. He gave up 3 runs on 6 hits and 5 2/3 innings. Toledo's record now 1-1. Ball 2 is low to right-handed hitting David Castillo. He doubled and scored in the Kane County 2-run 6th inning. 10-2 Cougars, top of the 7th. A deep drive into left, may be a fair ball, maybe a home run. Neither. It's a foul ball and not a home run. David Castillo jumped all over a 2-0 pitch from Alan Buckley, and now the scramble is on by 3 youngsters on the Randy Keel Confidence Picnic Pavilion to track down that souvenir baseball. I don't know which one's... Oh, a kid in an Oakland A or green jacket found it first. Oakland has still some of the most talked about uniforms ever since Charlie O'Finley put the green and gold into their color scheme back in the mid-60s when he had the team, when the team moved from Philadelphia to Kansas City. A curve is low, and it's ball 3 to David Castillo. Alan Buckley set it to the letters. Delivers a ground ball foul past third into the left field, or beyond the left field Cougar bullpen off the tarp. Aaron Peel retrieves it. This ballpark's fairly quiet right now. The Cougars have silenced the Colonel bats. A high pop foul onto the grandstand roof above Kane County's third base dugout. The Red Sox swept the Yankees, and what will George Steinbrenner do? He's seething. He thought when he signed Alex Rodriguez in the offseason that he really won up the Red Sox. A ground ball to third, sharply hit. Sean Rodriguez with the long throw hit David Castillo for the second out of Kane County's seventh inning. Alan Buckley is 1 out away from doing something our staff has been unable to do today, and that is retire the visitors in order. Nick Touchtone, the starter, went 2 2/3, allowed the grand slam by the number 9 hitter in the second inning. Jesse Smith was touched for 4 runs in 2 innings. Scott Heineman, 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. A grounder foul past the Cougar skipper coaching at third, Dave Joppy. Well, there's a big round of applause for the Kernel equipment manager, Ron Pline, running after a baseball. Swinging a foul by the batter, David Harriman. It is 0-2 to Harriman. Yeah, Boston was really appalled when Alex Rodriguez was traded to the Yankees. And it just shows you again that hopefully, and I know there's a lot of Yankee fans in eastern Iowa, Bruce Downey, TV9 anchor, John Lewis, the baseball coach at Kirkwood, Jack Rader, Kernel general manager, among others. The 1-2, grounded foul, down the left field line again. But I think the Yankees are still the odds-on favorite with that lineup. But I'm not a Red Sox fan either, but I'm glad Boston has taken 5 out of the first 6 against the Yankees. Swing and another foul as David Harriman just got a piece of a 1-2 pitch from the tall Kernel right-hander Alan Buckley. 10-2 Cougars. We're in the top of the 7th inning. David Harriman is 2 for 4 on the afternoon. Open stance, another 1-2 from Buckley. A curve is lifted deep into deep right center. Blake Balcom away back in front of the 390 mark. Reaches high to snare it. And Alan Buckley retires Kane County in order for the first time today. We go to the home half of the 7th. Cougars crushing the Kernels 10-2. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Quiznos Kernels Kids Club members. Did you know that your Quiznos Kernels Kids Club membership card is good for more than just great deals at the ballpark? That's right. By showing your Quiznos Kernels Kids Club membership card at any of the Cedar Rapids Quiznos, you'll receive a free small drink when you buy a Quiznos sub. That's a free small drink with the purchase of a Quiznos sub when you show your Quiznos Kernels Kids Club card.
Quiznos.
Toasty. Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick.
So there's like a dive bar across the street. So we go in there, and what song comes on the jukebox? And mind you, we're a little bit drunk. Really? Go ahead, Liam. This song comes on the jukebox.
Really?
Let me tell you, the 4 of us stood up in the middle of a packed bar.
Really?
And I asked everyone to join with me, including you guys.
Let your wife friends do it.
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. They threw us out.
No, they didn't.
We were disturbing people.
In a dive bar.
I was thrown out of a dive bar.
Mike and Mike in the morning on ESPN Radio.
You might be looking at the Cy Young Award winner facing the MVP. Smoltz is right. The 1-0 pitch, swung on and driven.
Major League Baseball's opening day, April 4th on ESPN Radio.
We're going to review finals we have for you on the State Farm Major League scoreboard as we go to the bottom of the 7th, 10-2 Kane County. State Farm Major League scoreboard brought to you by State Farm Insurance Agents Gary Schubat, Al Shetler, Lanny Peterson, and Dale Thompson. I told you about the Red Sox shutout 2-0 over the Yankees today in the Bronx. Matt Moss, Kernel Broadcast Assistant, will bring you up to speed on everything else in the American League.
At Detroit, Cleveland beat the Tigers 3-2. The Toronto Blue Jays crushed the Baltimore Orioles 15-3. That game was played in Baltimore. And in the National League, we have the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Montreal Expos. Oh, I'm sorry, never mind. The Expos beat the Phillies 2-0. We want to make sure we get that right. Montreal Expos beat the Philadelphia Phillies 2-0. And the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Milwaukee Brewers 5-2. That game was played at Miller Field.
Those are the finals. Matt will have some partials for you as we roll along. Sean Rodriguez, 1 for 2 on the day. Swings through a changeup and missed it. Now our right-hander is up for the Cougars in their bullpen. This will be the last inning of work for Chris Dunwell as Sean takes a curve for a strike. Matt, what's the good news for our attendance today?
Well, John, our paid attendance today is 1,247.
Fantastic. 1,247. Ball one in the dirt to Sean Rodriguez. We're going to continue with partial scores on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. A swing and a miss by Sean, and that is the 9th strikeout for the right-hander Dunwell. Take it away, Matt.
Well, a lot of day games today. In the American League, the Texas Rangers are up big on the Seattle Mariners. That game, in the bottom of the 8th inning, the score is 13-6. The Minnesota Twins are beating the Kansas City Royals 4-2. That game in the bottom of the 9th. Tampa Bay Devil Rays are up on the Chicago White Sox 3-2. That game is in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Here's a bunt by Aaron Peel for a base hit, I think, barehanded by the third baseman, and Brian Snyder falling towards the mound as he threw late. It's an infield single, a bunt single for Aaron Peel. Peel bunts his way aboard, and that is the 4th hit for the Kernels against right-hander Chris Dunwell.
Our parent club, the Anaheim Angels, are up 1-0 at the Coliseum. The score, 1-0. That game is in the bottom of the 3rd inning. In the National League, Pittsburgh Pirates up 1-0 on the Cincinnati Reds. That game is in the top of the 3rd inning. Chicago Cubs up 4-1 on the New York Mets, looking for their 2nd victory in a row against the Mets. That game is in the top of the 9th.
A strike is into Matt Abram, and the Cubs trying to make it 7 in a row overall.
Houston Astros are trailing 1-2 to the Colorado Rockies in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Los Angeles Dodgers are up 3-0 over the San Francisco Giants. That game in the bottom of the 3rd. And, a
strike to Abram. And nothing in 2 to Matt.
The San Diego Padres are up 1-0 on the Arizona Diamondbacks. That game in the top of the 2nd inning.
The 0-2 to Abram. Swing and a miss. And that's the 10th strikeout for Dunwell. Now, the strikeouts are starting to become alarming. We struck out too many times in our series with the Lumber Kings, and we fanned 10 times in winning last night and have struck out 10 times today. Peel held it first on the strikeout of Matt Abram, the 10th by Chris Dunwell, and now Tommy Duenas is at the plate. He hasn't had much success at all against this right-hander. Standing twice, a curve is low to Tommy Duenas. A right-hander is up for the Cougars in their left field bullpen. Daniel Fyvie. Daniel Fyvie will likely take over in the 8th inning. Tommy hacks one foul for strike 1. Finally, Matt, the game our fans can hear right here on the Zone this evening.
Tonight, the Atlanta Braves are taking on the Florida Marlins, and that's going to be here on the Zone.
And we thank Matt Moss for that complete look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. We're in the bottom of the 7th here, down 10-2. A 1-1 pitch to Tommy Duenas. Swing and a miss on a curveball. And I don't mean to be dwelling on our shortcomings because, my goodness, our ball club is 10-6 in first place in our division. It's just that we do need to start putting the ball in play a little bit more. You just can't have the alarmingly high strikeout totals that we've accumulated the last week or so. The 1-2 to the Colonel catcher. Outside a fastball. Going back to our series in Clinton, well, I'll have to do some totaling later, but needless to say, we just need to put the ball in play a little bit more and make the defense earn their outs. Ball 3 inside and low to the Colonel catcher. Tommy steps out, takes off his red Anaheim Angel batting helmet, adjusts his red or his white batting gloves, and he's using a black lacquer bat. Aaron Peel not being held at first by Trevor Brown. Here's the payoff pitch from Dunwell. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 11 strikeouts in 7 innings for this Kane County right-hander. And boy, it seems to be curveball after curveball after curveball that we just can't make contact with. Now Bobby Magallanes going after one of the Cougar, I think the pitcher, and Bobby is hot about something. Bobby Magallanes, I did not see what transpired, and apparently, Jack Rader, I was giving my final summation. I think one of the Cougars must have either done something in the way of pumping a fist or showing up the opposition. Jack, did you see it? I did not either. Matt Moss, did you see it?
No, I did not, John.
Brad, did you see it? Bobby Magallanes, who is polite and courteous and mild manner, yet as fiery as a competitor, something upset Bobby about something the Cougars did, and order has been restored. In the Kernels' 7th, the side strikes out, no runs, 1 hit. There were no Cougar errors. The Kernels leave a runner. We've left 4. I don't know if the Cougars were upset that Aaron Peel bunted in the 7th inning with the game 10-2 Kane County, or if after a strikeout, Chris Dunwell did some sort of showboating or fist thrusting, but a brawl almost erupted because Bobby Magallanes was not pleased at all at the antics of one of the Cougars. We go to the 8th inning, 10-2 Kane County. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Show. What did you do last night? Rich Eisen, former ESPN anchor, having a party, or I could have gone to the Playboy Mansion and the 50th anniversary.
Now, who were some of the famous people that were there besides yourself?
Famous people. Drew Carey was there. Lou Ferrigno. Oh, you know who was there? Salami from the White Shadow.
Scott Baio was there again, right?
You've got to love Chachi. And the ratio was, I think, 7 women to every 1 guy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I did meet the triplets, who are from Minnesota.
All right.
Yeah, now that's a 3-peat. That'd be the trifecta. That's the Triple Crown right there.
But you not only see the modern-day Playboy women, you saw, Mimi Van Duren was there. Was she like the 50th anniversary Playmate?
I think she was there in like 53 or
How
something like that. She looked like she was there in 53, 1953.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays on ESPN Radio.
Announcing a revolution in resolution. ESPN high-definition television is here. ESPN HD. On the screen like you've never seen. A sweeping sideline-to-sideline panorama so real. See the sweatshirt. You might even call for the hot dog man. ESPN HD. The big picture in sports. Presented by Phillips and Best Buy. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today.
Magallanes cooled off. I don't know, as Matt Moss, our broadcast assistant, surmised, if some jaw-jacking, some trash talk was going on from the Cougar third base dugout. But at any rate, order's been restored. Colonel General Manager Jack Rader has stopped by to say hello here in the top of the 8th inning as Alan Buckley on a 2-0 pitch delivers a strike to Brian Snyder. Well, Jack, you've been around in minor league baseball in leadership position for nearly 20 years, and I know that we can say this. Here's a line drive into center, the 13th hit for the Cougars as Quan Cosby gets it back in. It's Brian Snyder's second hit. He's walked 3 times. I know 2 things about baseball, and you've reminded me of them. First of all, it doesn't stay cool, windy, and damp or cold in Iowa all spring long, does it?
No, it sure doesn't, John. And it evens out. Yeah. You get some good days and bad days, and we have a lot of good days ahead of us and 20 home games in May.
Pitch jackhammer deep into the left center field gap will chase Brian Snyder around third. The Cougar manager, Dave Jaffe, holds him there. Corey Weymouth has yet another hit for Kane County, their 14th of the day, as they continue to pour it on in terms of an offensive display. The other thing, Jack, is, remember, we beat Clinton in the first homestand here twice. We put up Taco Bell 10 spots, Taco Bell 10-run games, and we're on the receiving end today, and that I'm not saying it's fun, but you have to learn how to play when you're getting hammered pretty good.
Well, John, it's going to happen. When you play a 140-game schedule, you play every day. But that's the good thing, because you put this game behind you tomorrow. We've got Kevin Jepson on the mound, and, of course, we'll bounce right back. We lost a tough game in Clinton the other night, turned around and won the next night.
Yeah,
so it goes by quick, and you just have to go. If you have a bad game, you just get up tomorrow and you play, and it's a new day.
That's exactly right, Jack. A curve from Alan Buckley is a strike to Trevor Brown. He's walked twice, singled in 2 runs, and scored a run, and he fouls one off to the right, strike 2. Jack Rader, Colonel General Manager, with us. And, Jack, wasn't it gratifying to see the Novak Notes last night singing in the rain, the Star-Spangled Banner, and their other numbers, and then today the kids from Cleveland did a great job with the national anthem. The cold weather doesn't damper these school spirits. The 0-2. Low and away from the Colonel right-hander, ball 1.
It sure doesn't, John. Both groups did a terrific job, and obviously a lot more schools to come as we go through April and May, and we're excited about all of them. They do a terrific job, and they have a lot of fun out here.
Yes, they do. Ooh, a breaking pitch. The Colonels can't believe that Scott Jarrett in this 10-2 game called it a ball, but he did, and it's 2-2 as Trevor Brown tries to keep his perfect day intact. We'll play here tomorrow. Jack, have you heard much about the swing of the Quad Cities road uniforms?
Only from Rhodey.
Okay, well, we'll hear what he said. A 2-2 outside. What has he told you about them?
Well, he told me that they were pretty loud and had a lot of orange in them, so I guess we'll see when they get here.
Rhodey, you'll have to wash them, right? No, the hotel does that.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, tomorrow, we welcome over 430 folks from from Wilkins Elementary in Marion. A 3-2 pitch, lifted foul down the right field line. Jack, Tuesday is a new promotion that we've designed off of something the last couple of years. It's called $2 Tuesdays. I've seen it advertised on television, but I want you to review with our listeners what Tuesday night will bring in terms of some bargains with our food and drink here. Another 3-2. A bouncer to second. A run will score. Howie Kendrick has it and flips to first to get Trevor Brown. It's 11-2 now in favor of Kane County here in the top of the 8th as Brian Snyder scores. Corey Weymouth to third. 1 out in the 8th inning. Jack, the gates open at 5:30. The game starts at 6:30 Tuesday night. What does $2 Tuesday entail?
As you mentioned, John, we sort of have expanded the $2 Tuesday, or 2 for Tuesday, which we had last year, and this year we're calling it $2 Tuesday. But when I say it's been expanded, there are more items that are available for $2. So we think it's going to be a great family night here at the ballpark.
Well, yeah, for $2, it sounds like you can get sandwiches and soda pop and beer and bottled water and really feed the family for $2 a person.
Yeah, it should be a great deal, John.
A tap foul at the feet of the batter, Chris Tritle.
We've got, with it, John, you can get 20-ounce bottled water, soda or water, for $2, a 12-ounce draft beer, a hot dog or a hamburger, a single scoop of ice cream, and a 7-ounce bag of peanuts. All those items are just $2.
Well, that is a great bargain on a Tuesday. Tritle swings hard and fouls one back just over our heads, and down below it goes. 1,247 paid here on this Sunday afternoon. We've seen just a few glimpses of the sun today. The 2-2. Allen gets Tritle swinging a slider, and Chris Tritle is the second out of the Cougar 8th inning. The number 9 hitter, Luis Perez, due up. Jack, I didn't realize, as the general manager, as soon as the schedule comes out, you know what we're in for as far as the challenges and also the good parts of the schedule. And with all the kind of cool, windy weather in April, May is bound to bring us better weather just by Mother Nature being nicer to us. A high fly ball into right. Blake Balcom's been busy out there this afternoon. He settles underneath it and has it to retire the Cougars in the 8th. Jack will tell us about some of the coming attractions. 20 home games in the month of May when the Kernels come to bat in the home half of the 8th. For Kane County in the 8th, 1 run, 2 base hits, no Colonel errors. Cougars leave 1, their 10th man stranded. After 7.5, King County 11, the Kernels 2, and you're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Kernels fans, your Cedar Rapids Taco Bell restaurants have something new for you to cheer about this season. A Taco Bell 10 spot. When the Kernels score 10 or more runs in any game this season, you'll score beef tacos for just 39 cents the very next day at any Cedar Rapids Taco Bell. That's a savings of 50 cents per taco. Limit 10 per customer. Remember, when the Kernels put up a Taco Bell 10 spot by plating 10 or more runs in any game, you get up to 10 39-cent beef tacos the very next day at any Cedar Rapids Taco Bell.
The dream lies in your heart to tell you you're one of a kind. It's your time to just believe. Rise up, be strong. Originality lasts a whole lot long. Nothing better. Dr. Pepper, the taste of originality. Dr. Pepper.
Well, we spoke of glimpses of sunshine, and we have some now. Man, Jack, it's hard to recognize the field in sunshine, isn't it?
Looks like a different place, doesn't it?
Top of the order for the Kernels, bottom of the 8th, and let's see if a new hurler is on for the Cougars. This looks like and is Daniel Fyvie. Fyvie, a 21-year-old right-hander, his first pitch to Howie Kendrick is outside a ball. Final line on the starter, Chris Dunwell, 7 innings pitched. Gave up 2 runs on just 4 hits, fanned 11, and walked none. He was outstanding. He's trying to go 3-0. We will be home for lots of fun in the month of May, and Colonel General Manager Jack Rader will tell us some about that as Howie Kendrick bashes one into center, greeting Daniel Fyvie with a solid single. Howie started the day hitting .286. It's his first hit. Jack, we start playing in the month of May on May 3rd. It looks like to me an 8-game homestand.
We have 2 big homestands in May, John. As you mentioned, a total of 20 games. But it should be a lot of fun, a lot of different things going on. We have 2 noon games in the month of May. Some entertainment acts will be coming, so it's going to be a power-packed May.
Well, let's go ahead and highlight a few of those, Jack. The first noon game is against Fort Wayne the first week in May.
Yeah, May 6th. That will be the first noon game of the year, and we're looking, obviously, the noon games have become one of the more popular attractions at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Are you ever right, Jack? As Cosby bounces one behind second, and the shortstop, Ingram, steps on the bag, throws Quan out, and boy, I was afraid that Howie Kendrick might get into a scuffle with Brian Ingram, but Howie played the game right. He slid in and took the feed out underneath of Ingram. Quan Cosby has bounced into a 6-3 double play, and that erases any momentum the Kernels might have had going here in the 8th inning. We're down 11-2. The play went 6-3 as Howie Kendrick took out Brian Ingram, but Ingram still got the throw to first. Brandon Wood at the plate. Yeah, Jack, wherever I go across eastern Iowa, I'm always asked, when's your first noon game? And our first one is Thursday, the 6th of May. And the sun hopefully will be shining brightly and the temperatures will be nice and warm. The 1-0 from Fyvie outside. Jack, what else specifically in that month of May? You mentioned the noon games. When's the second one?
May 27th, John. So it's towards the end of the month. We also have Skydog USA and Rock and Ray, which will be here 2 days on Saturday, May 22nd and Sunday, May 23rd.
High pop foul behind home plate. No play for David Harriman. And it's 2-1 to Brandon Wood. And for those that haven't seen Skydog USA and Rock and Ray, Jack, what can they look forward to?
Well, it's a lot of fun. He brings several dogs along with him. And remember, Bark in the Park will be one of those days, too. So we've got a nice tie-in with that. But really puts on a great show, entertains the fans. The dogs do a lot of different things, including retrieve the bats for an inning, so it's fun.
They can even jump rope, if I remember.
John, another big act that the fans love, the Superstars, are coming over Memorial Day weekend this year, so it's early on Sunday, May 30th at 2 o'clock.
Oh, boy,
and
Jack.
The Memorial Day weekend is going to be great. Pat McGrath is having 2 used cars giveaway nights this year, and one of them will be over Memorial Day weekend. So.
That is going to be spectacular. Brandon Wood backs away from a pitch inside, and Brandon has drawn a 2-out walk here in the Colonel 8th inning to bring Blake Balcom to the plate. Balcom homered off the starter, Chris Dunwell, to give the Colonels their only 2 runs of the afternoon in the 6th inning. It was Blake's second of the year. Jack, for those that haven't experienced the Pat McGrath used car giveaway, and you said the first will be over Memorial Day weekend, what does that entail? Because I don't think any pre-registration is needed.
No, there isn't. Just come to the ballpark, and if you're one of 4 lucky fans, there'll be 4 cars given away on both Pat McGrath nights at the ballpark, used cars that you get to drive off of the field with your car. It's been fun. We've been doing it now, I think, John, for 4 or 5 years.
Are the players eligible?
No, players not eligible. No, I don't think so.
Oh, they'd love that.
Pat helps the players a lot, though.
Yes, he does.
In addition to this promotion.
Oh, he sure does. As does Randy Keel. We have very good relationships with our local car dealerships. A curve and a swing and a miss by Blake Balcom. The 0-2 to Blake from 5E. Bounced to short. Ingram has it. Underhands to the second baseman, Luke Appert, to end the Colonel 8th inning. It went 6-4. In the 8th, no runs for the Colonels. 1 hit, a leadoff single. A double play. The first turned by either club the second turned this afternoon. No, check that. The first turned by either club. Colonels leave the bases empty. Jack, going to give you a choice here. I know you have to help with the Cleveland kids and all the kids running the bases after the game, but would you like to stay and talk just a little bit more about the month of May in the top of the ninth?
Sure, be glad to, John.
That'd be wonderful. We go to the top of the ninth, and it's the Colonels trailing Kane County 11-2. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Hey, man, what's up? Just getting ready to kick your butt. Right. And mess up your hair? You just wish you could look this good. No, nothing but that. Hey, I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to make my hair look as good as yours. I mean, who has time to schedule an appointment, let alone show up for it? Not me. I just go to Cost Cutters. I can get in whenever it's convenient for me. Nice shot. Yeah. So you're telling me you just walk into Cost Cutters and come out looking good? Well, for some of us, that comes naturally. But Cost Cutters makes it easier. They can do anything you want. A cool cut, even some color, and get some of that styling gel stuff to keep you looking good. Like me. Oh, so that's why your hair never moves. Oh, you're funny. Cost Cutters. Thanks, man. This will save me some time. Great. Then you'll have time to work on your game. Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Are you a busy guy? Save yourself time and walk into one of our area's 12 Cost Cutters whenever it's convenient for you. Then relax, because Cost Cutters will make things easy and affordable for you.
Cost Cutters. Live your life. We always have time for your hair.
Emergency hotline, can I help you?
Yes, I need help.
All right, sir, what's the problem?
I can't taste my beer. I feel it in my mouth, but there's no taste.
Okay, sir, this is what I want you to do. Put the bottle down and step away from the beer.
Okay.
Walk straight to the corner store and pick up a 6-pack of Miller Lite.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's going to be all right.
Next time, try the light beer that actually tastes like beer. Great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Miller. Good call. Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Alan Buckley misses in the dirt to Brian Ingram. We're underway in the top of the ninth. It's been all Cougars. They've out-hit us 14-5 and lead it 11-2. And Brian Ingram has been one of the few Kane County men not to share in on the fun. He's nothing for 5, and he swings and fouls one straight back. Ingram, a left-handed hitting shortstop, takes an Alan Buckley pitch at the knees for strike 2. Jack Rader, Colonel General Manager, is with us, and we're looking forward to the month of May. Jack, we have an 8-game homestand, and then you mentioned Memorial Day weekend with the Pat McGrath Chevyland used car giveaway, as well as the Superstars. Aren't the Superstars the large gyrating plastic figures that are named after, like Ken Giraffe Jr.? Okay.
Yep, that's them, John.
They are
inflatable.
Yes, inflatable was the word I was looking for. A foul over the screen, and it's still 2-2. They'll be here what date, Jack?
That's on May 30th. John, another promotion that we're just starting to put together is going to be in conjunction with Clement's Sausage, which, of course, supplies our hot dogs and brats. And we're going to have what they call Patio Daddio promotion over Memorial Day weekend. Don't know all the details to that yet, but I know they're doing it in Milwaukee at their beautiful new ballpark.
Then it's got to be good.
Yeah, it should be fun.
A pitch outside, and then ball 4, and Alan Buckley has issued a leadoff pass to Brian Ingram to start the Cougar ninth inning. Patio Daddio, that was something that sounds like food on one of our decks.
It sounds like outdoor grilling, and of course, I think they'll probably have some nice giveaways on that day for the fans. So it should be a lot of prizes, a lot of fun, and of course that's always a festive weekend anyway.
Oh,
ballpark!
It's the official kickoff to summer. A high pop foul, and this one will drift down the left field line and beyond the reach of the hustling third baseman Sean Rodriguez in front of the tarp. Strike 1 to Luke Appert. Jairo Garcia, a right-hander. It will likely work the bottom of the ninth inning as Daniel Fivey worked the eighth inning, no runs, 1 hit, no strikeouts, and 1 walk. It'll be Jairo Garcia in the bottom of the ninth inning. Jack, the first homestand is an 8-gamer, and then in the latter part of May, the longest homestand I've ever been a part of in 9 years with the Kernels, and probably the longest you've ever been engaged in your long tenure in minor league professional baseball. A little looper, and Howie Kendrick had to leap high and make the snaring grab as Luke Appert hit a humpback liner to Kendrick. 1 out, 1 on for Kane County. Ninth inning, they lead at 11-2. A 12-game homestand, and the nice part about that is we will be in the spotlight, the media, the talk of the town for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And it is, John. It's the first 12-game homestand that I can remember being part of. I can tell you this, though. I was part of an 18-day road trip once in Wausau, Wisconsin, believe it or not. Our last home game was August 10th. I don't know what year it was. I think it was like in 88 or 89. We went on the road on August 11th and finished 18 games on the road.
I hope the person who made that schedule is in another line of work.
I'm sure they are.
My goodness, that's utterly ridiculous. Ball 1, now strike 1 to David Castile. The Quad City Swing who come in here. Here's a rocket fair past third for extra bases. It'll be retrieved by Aaron Peel in left field. Racing towards third is Brian Ingram, and it's been a 15-hit barrage by the Cougars, who have not been kind to any of the Colonel Hurlers here today. David Castillo, with a good bit of sportsmanship, could have had a double, but he stopped at first. It's first and third, 1 away for David Harriman, the cleanup batter. The Quad City Swing, who come here tomorrow and Tuesday night, Jacks, have not had a home game yet, and they have played 15 road games. They had an open house this afternoon. Remember the response we had when we had our open houses here?
Yeah, I sure do. So I'm sure that was a big day down at Quad Cities this afternoon for fans to be able to come in and look through the ballpark. And from everything I've heard, it's terrific.
Yeah, I've heard the same, Jack.
You can see the river from the concourse.
And that's what Kevin Krause, the owner, and the designers were hoping to do. Alan Buckley has fallen behind David Harriman 2-0. You couldn't see the river and the Centennial Bridge unless you were high up, practically in the press box in the former John O'Donnell Stadium, but I think they've kind of lifted the whole thing up to the point where no matter where you sit, hopefully you can see the river.
From what I understand, a lot of it is from...
A pitch drilled into the right field corner for extra bases makes it 12-2. Brian Ingram is home. Digging it out of the corner is Blake Balcom, and it's an RBI double for David Harriman. David Harriman is doubled into the right field corner to make it a 12-2 Cougar lead. Stopping at third, David Castillo. Jack, I have to just take a second to count how many doubles the Cougars have now. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 doubles among their 16 hits. Jack, I wanted to pick up where you left off on what you had heard about the Quad City ballpark. A strike is in to Brian Snyder.
One of the things I think it's sort of unique because a lot of what they have is between home plate and down the third baseline. so people can actually see. It focuses on the river and also the bridge.
Oh, that's
so a lot of their key areas are along the left field line, so the viewing, of course, is out to the river and the bridge.
Well, we want to congratulate the folks in Davenport and the other 3 of the 4 Quad Cities. Here's the line drive off the end of the bat. Quan Cosby has it. It carried out to Quan, and holding it third is David Castillo. Brian Snyder retired for the first time this afternoon as he stroked one off the end of the bat into center. Quan came in a few steps, caught it just below the knee tops. 2 away in the Cougar 9th inning. They've scored a run, have runners at second and third for Corey Weymouth. Weymouth has a good day going, 3 hits and a walk. He's a right-handed batter. A curve from Alan Buckley, a strike called. 12-2 Cougars here in the top of the 9th inning. Boy, Jack, you look at the changes in this league since you were in Wausau and even since you were in Clinton, and it's almost unrecognizable.
It is, and the start of this whole thing happened back in 1988 with the advent of the new stadium in South Bend. And from that point forward, the change has almost happened yearly.
Yeah.
If you look back, not every year.
Almost so.
Just about. And it's gone from a lot of the older, smaller ballparks to the beautiful new facilities, much like we have right here in Cedar Rapids.
A curve by Buckley is low and away. Corey Weymouth in the hole 1 and 2. And come on out tomorrow night or Tuesday night for fun, wholesome family entertainment here in the sparkling new Veterans Memorial Stadium. Boy, Jeff, you look down below and you just feel for the faithful and hardy that have endured just another kind of raw day. Not so bad you couldn't be here, but a lot of folks are just bundled in heavy blankets and whatnot. A grounder fair back. Ooh, they called it foul. It looked fair. Rodriguez fielded it, and it's still 1 and 2 to Corey Weymouth. But we want to emphasize that when you do come out, just bundle up until Mother Nature is a little kinder to us. I know tomorrow with over 430 kids and parents coming from Wilkins Elementary, they'll be in the plaza section and they'll have so much fun at least that first hour and a half or so. And then if it gets too chilly, well, then you just listen to us on your way home.
That's a good game plan, John.
A slider and a swing and a miss by Corey Weymouth. 1 run for Kane County in the 9th on 2 base hits. No Colonel errors, and the Cougars leave a pair. They've stranded a dozen. Jack, I know you have to help with the kids running the bases. Thanks so much for giving us a preview at all the great things coming up in the month of May.
Thanks, John.
Jack Rader, Colonel General Manager, with us. And again, we want to say tomorrow and Tuesday it should be warmer. Right now, blue skies and sunshine as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. We just can't figure Mother Nature out. That's why she's Mother Nature, and we're her inhabitants. It's a 12-2 game in favor of Kane County, and you're tuned to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
When searching for a professional logistics team of experts to handle your warehousing operations, look to Worley Warehousing. Worley Warehousing will help you achieve greater efficiencies by providing superior warehouse facilities, technological advancements, and expert professionals. By focusing on technological innovations and keen foresight, Worley Warehousing has grown into one of our nation's leading warehousing operations. Worley Warehousing, your single source for all of your warehousing and distribution needs.
Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees are proud to support one of our community's most renowned and cherished assets, the Cedar Rapids Kernels. Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees believe in the core values that comprise the essence of Kernel baseball: fun, wholesome, affordable entertainment for us all. As you look ahead to the many joys of summer, your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees encourage you to visit the fabulous new Veterans Memorial Stadium. Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees, embracing Kernel baseball, a community treasure.
Butterflies in your stomach. You know the feeling, like when you're not sure you found the best loan. Well, set those butterflies free. Talk with a knowledgeable banker at Wells Fargo. Whether you're interested in a home equity loan, mortgage, or auto loan, they can help you find a product that's just right for you, including unique financing options you won't find anywhere else. And every Wells Fargo loan has competitive rates and affordable payment options. So be sure you found the best loan. Call or visit Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, the next stage. Wells Fargo Bank and Equal Housing Lender.
Right-hander Jairo Garcia will work the ninth inning as Kane County has owned this one from the Grand Slam in the second inning by Luis Perez. They've amassed 16 hits. They lead it 12-2. We want to remind you that you're enjoying Kernel baseball here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600, KCRG Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where later this evening you'll hear ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, the Braves and Marlins down in Miami. Jack Rader and I were talking between this top of the ninth and bottom of the ninth. Even though it was a really rainy, drizzly, cool evening last night, you can be well protected here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium underneath our concourse, a 31-foot high concourse that allows you to stay dry and protected. So even if it's still a little bit cool Monday and Tuesday nights, come on out, will you? And please join us for some fun and some good food and family entertainment. And hopefully the Kernels will provide you with all the excitement you can handle on the field. Caleb Mayer will lead it off against right-hander Jairo Garcia here in the bottom of the ninth. Caleb is 0 for 3. The pitchers of record are Chris Dunwell, the starter for the Cougars, who fanned 11 men in 7 innings, and Nick Touchstone, who made his Kernel debut here today. They are the pitchers of record. A strike is called to Caleb Mayer. Bright sunshine now, and finally the wind has calmed down, so we were saying that things hopefully can only get better the rest of this spring as far as warmer temperatures. The kids are starting to head down the right field line. They get to run the bases after this afternoon game. Just past 5 o'clock here in eastern Iowa, in the city of 5 seasons. Caleb Mayer swings and misses at a curveball, and he's down on strikes. Caleb's had a tough afternoon, 0 for 4. The batter, Sean Rodriguez, he has one of the Kernel 5 hits. Jairo Garcia spells his first name Jairo. Hey, we haven't had time yet to give you our Kernel of Wisdom. And it involves some remarkable athletes who were terrific college football players and then played professional baseball. And I only have a partial list, but I thought this would be fun to review. Ted Kluszewski was an All-American at Indiana and then won the National League Home Run Crown in 1954 for the Reds. Ted Kluszewski, Big Clue, wore those strongman shirts. He'd rip the sleeves out of his shirts. He was an All-American football player at Indiana. Jackie Robinson, of course, we mentioned earlier this month, a terrific tailback for the UCLA Bruins. 1-1 the count to Sean Rodriguez. A fastball from Garcia is a strike called. Most people know about Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, and Brian Jordan. Kirk Gibson, an assistant coach a coach with the Detroit Tigers, was a wonderful wide receiver at Michigan State, and then a great player for the Tigers and Dodgers. Garcia to Rodriguez, and Sean fouls it straight back. Yes, Kirk Gibson was quite a receiver, drafted by the St. Louis Football Cardinals, but had a great career on the diamond. Jackie Jensen, an All-American football player at Cal Berkeley, went on to have a short but sparkling career with the Boston Red Sox. Swing and a miss by Sean Rodriguez, and that's the 13th Kernel to fan this afternoon. Who could forget Bo Porter? Bo was a great All-Big Ten defensive back for the Hawkeyes, and then went on to play professionally for the Cubs and Texas Rangers, among others. Jake Gibbs. Jake Gibbs was an All-American quarterback at Ole Miss and played almost 10 years as a Yankee catcher. Look out, and Aaron Peel was struck on a curveball. He's fine. A breaking pitch got away from Jairo Garcia and struck Aaron Peel. Yeah, Jake Gibbs was a terrific quarterback at Ole Miss and then never really achieved the things the Yankees would hope he would as a catcher. A final guy that came to mind, our Kernel of Wisdom, Paul Giel. Paul Giel was the athletic director at Minnesota for many years, an All-American running back with the Gophers. He played professional baseball with the Giants and the Twins. So that's our Kernel of Wisdom on the heels of the NFL draft, highlighting guys who played college football at the high level and then professional baseball. A pop foul behind the plate, and the catcher cannot find it, and it drops. Well, I think it dropped behind David Harriman. He's chuckling a little bit about it. Strike one to Matt Abram. John Rogers, Metro Studios, with Al Schmidt or someone from Metro to come in briefly after the Colonel Curtin call. Thank you. Thank you. Ball's not here today. Matt Abram is struck out 3 times, and a pitch is low and away for a ball. Anyone of the authority with Metro, I need to give them a tape following the game. Thank you. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matt Abram. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. Will do, Andy. I have a cassette tape. I need copies, so I'll give it to you. Thank you. Matt Abram in the hole, 1-2. Boy, the sun's shining brightly now. Wouldn't you know it? In the bottom of the 9th inning, in a 12-2 blowout in favor of the Cougars, now the sun is brilliant. Oh, brother, old Murphy's Law. If something will go crazy, it will. A line drive, tailing past the first baseman, Trevor Brown, foul. Matt Abram narrowly missed an extra base hit. Vasily Spanos is taken over at third base for the Cougars here in the 9th inning. Matt Abram in the hole, 1-2, narrowly missed an extra base hit as he lashed one foul past the first baseman, Trevor Brown. Foul by about 3 feet in right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Matt Abram. Runner at first, Aaron Peel. Jairo Garcia with the 1-2. Swing and a miss on a slider in the dirt, and Matt Abram has fanned to end this frustrating afternoon of baseball. 12-2 Cougars. The side is fanned, and the Kernels fanned 14 times today in bowing to the Cougars 12-2. No runs in the 9th for the Kernels, no hits, no Cougar errors, a hit batsman, 1 man stranded. The Kernels left 5 this afternoon. We'll have a look at the review of this game and a look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard, as well as our Liberty Bank star plays of the game, all coming ahead on the Colonel Curtin call. 12-2 Cougars. You're listening to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
Hope you have a great weekend. Scott Unash joining you, and here's your weekly sports lineup right here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600. As we take a peek ahead to Monday, the 26th of April, the Kernels continue the homestand as they take on the Swing of the Quad Cities, the Class A Midwest League affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. We'll have a 6:10 pregame, 6:35 first pitch. Then the Kernels close out the homestand against Quad City on Tuesday the 27th, again from Veterans Memorial Stadium. Pregame at 6:10. ESPN Game Night comes your way on Wednesday. Then on Thursday the 29th, the Kernels hit the road as they travel to Battle Creek, Michigan to take on the West Michigan Whitecaps. 5:10 is your pregame for that one. Then on Friday night, April the 30th, it'll be baseball and racing. Kernels at West Michigan at 5:10, followed by the season premiere of Hawkeye Downs Racing from Iowa Super Speedway comes up after Colonel Baseball right here on the Zone.
Time for the Colonel's Curtain Call, right here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM. With a recap of all the action, the State Farm Major League scoreboard, plus a look ahead to the next Colonel's game, let's join the voice of the Colonels, the one, the only, John Rogers, here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM.
John Rogers back with you here for the Colonel Curtin Call, following a thoroughly convincing victory by the Kane County Cougars 12-2. The Kernels and Cougars will start tomorrow in a dead heat at top of the Western Division standings. Both will have records of 10-7. This game really was decided for all intents and purposes in the second inning when Nick Touchtone, the Colonel starter, walked Brian Snyder to start the second. Corey Wayment singled. Trevor Brown walked to load the bases, and after Nick Touchtone, the lefty, struck out Chris Tridle, Luis Perez belted a grand slam over the right field wall to make it 4-0 Cougars. Kane County added 4 more in the 5th inning off reliever Jesse Smith on 5 hits to make it 8-0. Then it was 10-0 on a pair of runs. Those came against lefty Scott Heinben in the 6th inning. The Kernels broke through for their only 2 runs of the day on a 2-run homer by Blake Balcom in the 6th inning. It was Blake's second of the year. Kane County added single runs in the 8th and 9th innings to win it big, 12-2. The final line score, 12 runs. 16 hits, 2 errors for the Cougars. They stranded a dozen. The Kernels 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. We left 5. The winning pitcher, Chris Dunwell. He's now 3-0. He fanned 11 Kernels in 7 innings. The loser in his Kernel debut, Nick Touchtone. He's 0-1. 1,247 paid here on Cleveland Elementary School Day, and the game took 2 hours and 57 minutes. 12-2 Kane County, and we have now split 6 games with the Cougars winning 3 and losing 3 in the first 2.5 weeks of the season. Up next, we'll enjoy our Liberty Bank star play of the game. That's coming in just a minute. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
Toyota Financial Services of Cedar Rapids understands the importance of reading in the lives of our community's children. That's why they're proud to fund the 6th annual Toyota Financial Services Kernel Summer Reading Program. The generous support of Toyota Financial Services will result in Kernel players conducting a record 32 elementary school assemblies this spring to encourage girls and boys to read throughout the summer. Their reading accomplishments will be recognized by Toyota Financial Services with fabulous rewards. Toyota Financial Services, a true hero to the Kernels and the youth of our community.
Unless you have a crystal ball that really works, nobody can foresee all the risks that might become realities. Most of us don't have a foolproof crystal ball, though. That's why it's sensible to consider the calamities that might occur to your car, home, business, or life, and insure yourself against the worst. See Phil Andrews, your Pekin insurance agent, about a well-planned insurance program for your individual needs. The future is uncertain. See your Pekin insurance agent, Phil Andrews, at Weidenhammer Andrews Agency.
Back with you following Kane County 12-2 dismantling of the Kernels this afternoon. The Kernels and Cougars both with first-place Western Division leading records of 10-7. Time to enjoy our Liberty Bank star play of the game, brought to you by Iowa's fastest-growing community bank, Liberty Bank. With the Kernels down 10-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning, Quan Cosby singled up the middle with 1 out. He was forced at second by Brandon Wood, and that brought Blake Balcom to the plate. Here's our Liberty Bank star play of the game. Blake Balcom's ahead 2-0. He's lined to right and flown to right. And he hits a deep drive to left. Way back. I think it's going to go. Adios! Over the 378 sign and a 2-run homer for Blake Balcom. Blake touched one off, his second of the year. And it was the bright spot offensively for the Kernels in this 12-2 drubbing we suffered at the hands of the Kane County Cougars. Blake Balcom's 2-run blast in the 6th, providing the Kernels with their 2 runs of the day. Our Liberty Bank star play of the game. Final timeout here on the Kernel Curtain Call, and when we return, we'll check all the scores on a very busy State Farm Major League scoreboard. You're listening to Kernel Baseball on the Zone.
It's a good bet. Many of you have unwanted, perhaps non-working, bulky items taking up space in your basement or garage. Well, now's the time to get rid of them during the annual bulky item cleanup in Cedar Rapids. The do's and don'ts are spelled out in a flyer you received in the mail recently. It lists the wood and plastic articles city crews will pick up when they come to your neighborhood and explains how to dispose of unwanted appliances, tires, and scrap metals. Or check the city's website for all the details. This reminder from your friends at Cedar Rapids Solid Waste and Recycling.
Whether you're a serious athlete or a weekend warrior, injuries can take you out of your game. Smart athletes know that Physiotherapy Associates in Cedar Rapids are the experts in the treatment and prevention of sport-related injuries. Our expert staff serves the metro and surrounding area high school athletes. Physiotherapy Associates of Cedar Rapids, the smart choice in sports medicine. Call us at 398-1569. That's 398-1569. We'll get you back in your game today.
Kane County gained a split in this mini 2-game series after the Kernel hard-fought 2-1 win last night. The Cougars came back in a big way and bombed us 12-2 this afternoon. Here on the Kernel Curtain Call, we're happy to bring you scores on the State Farm Major League scoreboard thanks to State Farm Insurance agents Dale Thompson, Gary Schubat, Lanny Peterson, and Al Shetler. We're going to start with Colonel Broadcast Assistant Matt Moss. He has everything in the National League.
The Expos beat the Phillies 2-0. That game was played in Montreal. The Pirates are working on a shutout against the Reds. That game is in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Pirates are up 5-0. The St. Louis Cardinals beat the Milwaukee Brewers 5-2. That game was played in Milwaukee. The Chicago Cubs got their second victory in a row against New York Mets. 4-1 was the score in that final. The Colorado Rockies beat the Houston Astros 4-1. That game played at Coors Field. The Los Angeles Dodgers are up 8-0 over the San Francisco Giants. That game is in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are up 6-2 over the San Diego Padres in the bottom of the 5th. That game being played at Arizona.
And then, Matt, a lot to look forward to tonight here on the Zone.
Yes, tonight the Atlanta Braves take on the Florida Marlins. That game being played in Florida.
Matt, great job with the National League slate. Here's what happened in the American League on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. The Red Sox made it 5 of 6 over the Yankees as they shut out the Bombers in the Bronx 2-0 this afternoon. At Comerica Park, the Indians shaded the Tigers 3-2. A blowout in the Battle of the Birds. The Blue Jays pounded the Orioles 15-3 this afternoon at Camden Yards. Texas did the same to the Mariners. The Rangers sunk the Mariners 14-6 at the ballpark in Arlington. That sounds like a football score, as did that Toronto 15-3 pasting of the Orioles. A more baseball-like score at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, where the Royals bowed to the Twins 4-2 Minnesota. And the White Sox, with a big ninth-inning rally, overtook the Devil Rays and edged Tampa Bay at Comiskey Park this afternoon 6-5. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning at the Coliseum in Oakland, where our parent club, the Anaheim Angels, lead the Athletics 4-2. That complete look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard here on the Colonel Curtain Call, brought to us by State Farm Insurance agents Dale Thompson, Lanny Peterson, Al Shetler, and Gary Schubat. The Colonels split with Kane County, winning 2-1 in the drizzle last night, and with the sun shining now here at the new Veterans Memorial Stadium, being thrashed 12-2. Kane County mauls the Colonels here today 12-2. We'll be right back at it on this 4-game homestand with the first of 2 against the Swing of the Quad City on Wilkins Elementary School night tomorrow evening. The gates open at 5:30. We'll have the first pitch at 6:30 and the dugout interview at 6:10. We hope that KCRG Sports Director Scott Unash will be alongside. Kane County clobbers the Colonels 12-2 this afternoon. Deb Williams was our in-studio engineer. Deb, thanks for the great work you do for us at the Zone. 6:10 dugout interview time tomorrow night. John Rogers wishing you a great rest of your Sunday from the new ballpark. You're tuned to Colonel Baseball on the Zone.
This has been a special sports presentation from the Zone, ESPN Radio, 1600 AM, Cedar Rapids. Now back to our regularly scheduled ESPN programming, already in progress.